Chapter 700. Originally, I didn't care much about this Heaven's Choice meeting, but after seeing this Azure Sky leaderboard, it seems like I have to participate. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and his eyes shone with a bright light. He could faintly feel that this was a great era. Geniuses filled the sky and monsters gathered. Even the number of Supreme Being experts had surpassed 10,000 years ago. The mysterious war god temple had appeared, demons from the outer realm wreaked havoc, and heroes rose to fight for supremacy. It all depended on who could reach the peak of martial arts. Since Ling Xiao was the #1 person in the world in his previous life, he would definitely surpass his previous life in this life. Therefore, testing the world and competing with the geniuses of the entire war god continent was the first step to Ling Xiao's rise. The 9 people on the Azure Sky leaderboard had become Ling Xiao's targets to defeat. Especially the successor of the War God Temple, who ranked first on the Azure Sky leaderboard, and the Arhat Kasayapa, who ranked second on the Azure Sky leaderboard. These 2 people could kill several Supreme Beings with their half-step Supreme Being cultivation. Even if they had divine weapons, their combat strength was already extremely terrifying. The Heaven's Choice meeting is indeed an opportunity. Work hard for it. I feel that this world is about to be shaken again. Those below the Supreme Being realm are all ants. Without the cultivation of a Supreme Being, you won't have any ability to protect yourself in the future. Long Lai said slowly as his eyes revealed a trace of vicissitudes. This is the Imperial Dragon Scripture. Take it and study it well. You've awakened the true dragon bloodline and are considered a member of the Dragon Clan. Therefore, you have the qualifications to cultivate the Imperial Dragon Scripture. With a combination of the True Dragon Secret Technique and the Imperial Dragon Scripture, your combat strength will definitely rise to another level. During the Heaven's Choice meeting, you'll have a greater chance. Long Lai's hand flashed as he handed an ancient jade book to Ling Xiao. It emitted a powerful dragon aura, looking ancient and mysterious. The Imperial Dragon Scripture? Thank you, Uncle. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he received the Imperial Dragon Scripture. The True Dragon Secret Technique contained the Dragon Clan's martial origin, while the Imperial Dragon Scripture was a supreme killing technique that contained countless powerful and terrifying killing moves. For example, the Imperial Dragon Fist, Imperial Suppression Mountain River Sword, Imperial Dragon Mysterious Sky Slash, and other martial arts techniques. They all required the dragon bloodline to unleash their powerful and terrifying power. The Imperial Dragon Scripture was indeed extraordinary. Ling Xiao opened the ancient jade book and was instantly attracted by the supreme killing technique recorded within. In his previous life, Ling Xiao used the heaven-devouring secret skill as the foundation and combined all the martial arts in the world to create the heaven-devouring 7 limits divine technique, which was extremely powerful. In this life, Ling Xiao was determined to surpass his previous life. Thus, he had a kind of ambition. He wanted to combine the peerless martial arts of all the holy lands of martial arts in the world and walk a path that belonged only to him, Ling Xiao. The significance of the Emperor Dragon Scripture wasn't just that it could increase Ling Xiao's combat strength. More importantly, it could provide a reference for Ling Xiao to deduce his own martial arts after becoming a venerate. Long Lai left. The dragon's secret skill would be of great use to Long Lai. Once he could form the dragon's body, he would be one of the strongest titled Supremes when paired with the Emperor Dragon Scripture. Ling Xiao also began to meditate on the Imperial Dragon Scripture in seclusion. The Emperor Dragon Fist was an invincible fist technique. It could unleash the power of the ancestral dragon's secret skill to the extreme. The fist intent was unparalleled, as if the Dragon Emperor had descended and crushed everything. The Sovereign's descent was a martial art that condensed one's essence, vitality, and spirit to cultivate one's aura. All the strong fighters of the Demon Clan would be intimidated by the Sovereign's descent. When facing Ling Xiao, they would subconsciously lower their combat strength. The Emperor Suppressing Mountain River Sword and the Emperor Dragon Mysterious Sky Slash were a sword technique and a saber technique, respectively. They both unleashed the dragon bloodline and were invincible killing techniques that could destroy everything. The entire Crystal Palace was heavily guarded. Countless strong fighters patrolled the surroundings of the Crystal Palace as if they were facing a great enemy. Many strong fighters of the Dragon Clan returned to the Crystal Palace to cultivate diligently in preparation for the battle with the Sky Demon Palace. Even Long Zhantian and the group of dragon princes became incomparably solemn. Among the 3 holy lands of the Demon Clan, the Sky Demon Palace was the strongest and unfathomable. The Crystal Palace and the Mountain of Flames were slightly weaker. The Sky Demon Palace was full of ambition. In recent years, they had been moving more and more. First, they had united the Demon Clan in the Wasteland Demon region. Now, they were reaching out to the Crystal Palace. Even though the Sky-Scorching Demon Emperor did not obtain the Demon Sage's inheritance in the Holy Ground, it did not hinder the Sky Demon Palace from continuing to expand. But just like that, a month passed. The entire Crystal Palace was incomparably peaceful. The expected invasion of the Sky Demon Palace did not appear. But a month later, a shocking piece of news spread to the Crystal Palace. Under the leadership of the Great Sun Demon Venerate, the Sky Demon Palace, along with the 4 Demon Venerates, led many strong fighters of the Sky Demon Palace to attack the Mountain of Flames. The Mountain of Flames suffered heavy casualties. Countless strong fighters were trapped in the Mountain of Flames. Even the Mountain of Flames Lord was severely injured. The Great Sun Demon Venerate gave the Mountain of Flames a day to consider. They could either surrender to the Sky Demon Palace or be annihilated. The Mountain of Flames' strength was weaker than the Crystal Palace. The Mountain of Flames Lord and Long Lai's cultivation were both at the peak of the 9th level Supreme Realm. They did not have a title, so they were naturally no match for the Sky Demon Palace. Moreover, other than the Mountain of Flames Lord, only the 3 Supreme Elders were at the Supreme Realm. Although the Sect Protection Array was protecting them, it could not stop the invasion of the Sky Demon Palace. Ling Xiao woke up from his cultivation. When he heard the news, he immediately came out of seclusion. Ling Xiao, the situation in the Mountain of Flames is too dangerous. I have to go back and save Master. When Ling Xiao came out of seclusion, he saw Long Hanyan, Lady Phoenix, and the rest standing guard outside. Lady Phoenix's eyes were red and filled with worry. News of the Mountain of Flames Lord being severely injured had spread. If Long Hanyan had not stopped her, she would have immediately returned to the Mountain of Flames. Calm down. Even if you go back now, what can you do? I'm afraid we have to look for Uncle. If the Mountain of Flames is destroyed, the Crystal Palace will be next. Ling Xiao patted Lady Phoenix's shoulder and comforted her. That's right. Xiaowu, don't worry. Long Lai will definitely go and save Sovereign Fire Phoenix. He understands the principle of interdependence. Long Hanyan also comforted her. Long Outyan laughed strangely and said, Isn't that so? Sovereign Fire Phoenix is the old man's old lover. His old lover has been beaten up by the Sky Demon Palace. If he doesn't go and save her, he will really be a heartless man. Clang. A knock on Long Outyan's head made him hold his head and scream. He grimaced in pain and tears came out of his eyes. Which bastard is so blind that he dared to hit me? Long Outyan suddenly turned around and glared angrily. However, what he saw was Long Lai's black face. Chapter 701. However, Long Lai was not in the mood to deal with Long Outyan. Instead, he looked at Ling Xiao and Phoenix Lady and said, I've already discussed with the other elders. I'll bring the Grand Elder Yin Yang to the Blazing Mountain. The Wind, Rain, Thunder, and Lightning Grand Elders are guarding the Crystal Palace. Really? Thank you, Dragon King. The Phoenix Maiden immediately became excited. Her eyes were filled with excitement. Ling Xiao frowned slightly and said, Uncle, the Sky Demon Palace did not choose to attack the Crystal Palace but chose to surround the Blazing Mountain. I'm afraid there's a trap. Are you suspecting that they're trying to lure us away? Long Lai said flatly. That's right. Ling Xiao nodded. I've thought of that too. However, the Great Sun Demon Honorable knows that they're surrounding the Blazing Mountain. I'll definitely go to the Blazing Mountain to help. Therefore, even if it's a trap, I can only jump in. Long Lai's eyes lit up and he continued, Moreover, the Crystal Palace is not a place where anyone can just barge in. With the 4 Grand Elders, even if the Great Sun Demon Honorable comes personally, he won't be able to break the Crystal Palace's divine array. Ling Xiao nodded. He could see that the Crystal Palace was shrouded in a powerful array. It was left behind by the experts of the Dragon Tribe in the Antiquity Age. It was a complete Antiquity Age divine array. The murderous intent was blazing. Even if a Supreme Being expert came, they would probably die within it. However, that was not what Ling Xiao was worried about. Uncle, the Crystal Palace's defensive power is very strong. Naturally, I'm not worried. I'm just thinking that if the Great Sun Demon Honorable knows that you're going to help the Blazing Mountain, he might join forces with the other martial arts sanctuaries to harm you. Long Lai smiled faintly and said, Ling Xiao, I'll bring the 2 Grand Elders to help the Blazing Mountain. As long as the 3 of us work together, as long as the real deity does not descend, even if the Sky Demon Palace has asked for help and set up a trap, what can they do? Buzz. Long Lai's dragon power filled the air and exuded a powerful and mysterious aura. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. Uncle, could it be that you've formed the true dragon body? Long Lai said, I'm still a little short. If I really condensed the body of a true dragon, it would be enough to kill the Great Sun Demon Venerable. But even so, no one in this world can do anything to me. Uncle, take me with you to the Flaming Mountain this time. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Bring you along? This time, there are many dangers. I'm afraid there really is a trap set by the Sky Demon Palace. If you go, it will be too dangerous. Long Lai frowned slightly. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, Uncle, you should be clear about my current combat strength. As long as it's not a titled supremacy, even if I can't defeat an ordinary supremacy, I can still protect my life. Now that Fire Phoenix Sovereign is seriously injured, bring me to the Blazing Mountain. I can think of a way to heal her. To heal Fire Phoenix. There was a slight fluctuation in Long Lai's eyes. In the end, he took a deep breath and agreed. Good. I'll take you there, but you must listen to me no matter what. Don't act rashly. No problem. Ling Xiao said with a smile. A trace of gratitude appeared in the Phoenix Maiden's eyes. Thank you, Ling Xiao. You're welcome. Phoenix Maiden, did you pass on the true Phoenix secret technique to Fire Phoenix Sovereign? Ling Xiao smiled faintly and asked. True Phoenix secret technique? This is the martial art that you passed on to me. I didn't tell anyone, not even Master. The Phoenix Maiden blushed slightly and said slowly. If that's the case, then perhaps we can give it a try. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and looked at Long Lai. Uncle, this time, not only will I find a way to heal Fire Phoenix Sovereign's injuries, but I will also find a way to let her attain a titled supremacy. If Fire Phoenix Sovereign attains a titled supremacy, she will definitely be able to break the stalemate of this battle. Attaining a titled supremacy? It's easier said than done. Long Lai smiled bitterly and shook his head. Long Lai had lived for more than 10,000 years. He used 2,000 years to attain a supremacy, but he used 8,000 years to attain a titled supremacy. This showed how difficult it was to break through to a titled supremacy. Therefore, he did not believe Ling Xiao's words. I will try my best. No matter how bad it is, I will still heal Fire Phoenix Sovereign's injuries. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and did not explain anything. All right, then there's no time to lose. Let's set off now. Long Lai said slowly, and a sharp glint appeared in his eyes. Although Long Hanyan was very worried about Ling Xiao, under Ling Xiao's firm request, she still compromised and repeatedly reminded Ling Xiao to pay attention to his safety. Long Lai, Grand Elder Yin, Grand Elder Yang, Ling Xiao, and the Phoenix Maiden tore through the void and rushed in the direction of the Blazing Mountain. The Blazing Mountain was located in the south of the War God continent. It was a land of extreme yang. Legend had it that in ancient times, the sun had fallen from the 9 heavens, forming a vast and mysterious mountain range. It was enveloped in blazing flames all year round and stretched for 8,000 miles. Outside the Blazing Mountain, although it was enveloped by endless true sun fire, the mountain was covered with red parasol trees, emitting a bright light. The Blazing Mountain towered into the clouds. It was majestic, and it was the holy land of the Flying Demon clan. At this moment, the blazing mountain was blazing with dazzling flames. The bright flames covered the sky as if 9 bright suns had risen. The light from each other intertwined and formed a huge barrier. This was the protective array of the blazing mountain, the sky-burning 9 suns array. The sky-burning 9 suns array was also an ancient divine array. It was set up by the seniors of the blazing mountain. In each sun, there seemed to be a shadow of a phoenix, emitting a terrifying aura. Above the void, there was a dazzling golden sun. There seemed to be a figure with a powerful aura sitting there. The aura that he emitted caused the sky-burning 9 suns array to tremble slightly. Behind him, the tiger, leopard, wolf, and bear demon sovereigns stood. Each of them had a powerful aura, and they had completely locked down the sky-burning 9 suns array. That figure was the master of the Sky Demon Palace, the Great Sun Demon Sovereign. Other than the 4 demon sovereigns, the sky-burning Demon King also led a group of experts from the Sky Demon Palace to surround the entire blazing mountain. Their eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. In the void of the blazing mountain, there was a strong smell of blood. The sudden arrival of the Sky Demon Palace had caused the blazing mountain to suffer heavy casualties. Countless experts were killed and turned into ashes in the sea of fire. Even the master of the blazing mountain, the Fire Phoenix Sovereign, was severely injured. Only the 3 supreme elders were still managing the sky-burning 9 suns array, struggling to hold on. Everyone in the blazing mountain, listen up. One day's time is almost up. If you know what's good for you, open the sky-burning 9 suns array and surrender immediately. Otherwise, when we break the sky-burning 9 suns array, the entire blazing mountain will be wiped out. Behind the Great Sun Demon Sovereign, the Tiger Demon Sovereign stood out. His eyes were indifferent, and his cold voice resounded in the sky above the blazing mountain. Chapter 702. Within the 9 suns burning sky array, there were 3 old women holding dragon-headed crutches. Powerful auras intertwined around them, displaying the power of heaven, earth, and man. They were trying their best to operate the 9 suns burning sky array. The 3 of them were the grand elders of the blazing mountain. However, their faces were pale and their auras were weak. The 9 suns burning sky array was an ancient divine array. Although the 3 of them were supreme being cultivators, they still found it difficult to keep the Sky Demon Palace's experts outside the array after operating it for an entire day without any rest. Especially the Great Sun Supremacy, who was sitting cross-legged on the Divine Sun, emitting a terrifying aura. The Divine Sun seemed to be stealing the power of the 9 suns burning sky array, causing the 3 Grand Elders to feel a terrifying pressure. On the blazing mountain, there was a huge square where many disciples of the blazing mountain sat cross-legged. Their eyes were filled with fear. The 9 suns burning sky array could be said to be the blazing mountain's last line of defense, especially since the Fire Phoenix Supremacy had been severely injured by the Great Sun Demon Supremacy and was unable to control the situation. Once the array was broken, the consequences would be unimaginable. The Great Sun Demon Supremacy had given the blazing mountain a day's time not only because he wanted to subdue the blazing mountain, but also to suppress their mentality and destroy their confidence to create an opportunity to break the array. Now, the 3 Grand Elders were almost exhausted. Although the 9 suns burning sky array was an ancient divine array, it could not withstand the Great Sun Demon Supremacy's attack without anyone controlling it. All the disciples of the blazing mountain felt an aura of doomsday approaching. Fellow elders and senior brothers, the Sky Demon Palace is arrogant and domineering, wantonly invading us and killing countless of our fellow disciples. We will never surrender and swear to live or die with the blazing mountain. Lin Hui was the eldest senior brother of the blazing mountain. He drew his long sword and unleashed his half-step supremacy cultivation. His eyes were filled with determination. Swear to live or die with the blazing mountain. We will never surrender. Many disciples of the blazing mountain were motivated by Lin Hui's words. Their eyes were filled with the will to die as they roared madly. Stubborn. If that's the case, there's no need for the blazing mountain to exist. An old voice exploded above the blazing mountain. It was like a clap of thunder, exuding boundless majesty. The golden divine sun demon supremacy in the sky. A mysterious and old ancient divine sun slowly stood. He opened his eyes as if a golden sun had descended from the 9 heavens. He threw punch sky. Crack. The world trembled and the void rumbled. The fist light was like a divine mountain falling from the 9 heavens, covering the sky and the sun. It contained unfathomable supreme divine might as it ruthlessly landed on the sky-burning 9 suns matrix. Boom! The 9 suns heaven-burning array trembled violently. The 9 suns seemed like they were about to explode as they emitted boundless multicolored light. Runes exploded one after another, causing the surrounding mountain ranges to tremble. A sea of flames rose up, burning everything to ashes. Even the 8,000 miles of flame mountain began to tremble under this fist. Demon supremacy. Demon supremacy, supremacy. The 3 grand elders of the blazing mountain looked as if they had been struck by lightning as they spat out mouthfuls of blood. The invincible figure in the sky was the great sun demon supremacy, the master of the sky demon palace. Legend had it that the great sun demon supremacy had been a sovereign realm expert since 10,000 years ago. His power was boundless and terrifying. The 9 suns sky-burning sky grand array demon supremacy had reached its limit. Why aren't the reinforcements from the dragon tribe here yet? We can't hold on any longer. A grand elder said anxiously. His eyes were filled with despair. Even if we die, we will never surrender. If the 9 suns sky-burning sky grand array demon supremacy can't stop the great sun demon supremacy, then let's detonate the power of the ancient divine array. It's impossible for the blazing mountain to surrender to the sky demon palace. The other 2 old women's faces were also filled with determination. Their eyes began to turn crazy. Boom! The eyes of that figure in the air were like divine lamps, gleaming with divine light. He lifted his arm and unleashed yet another terrifying fist strike, causing the constellations in the 9 heavenly layers to tremble. The gigantic sun seemed to be about to fall from the sky. At this moment, an earth-shattering dragon roar was heard. Light shone brightly in the sky and golden clouds circled around. In an instant, a golden dragon pierced through the sky and came crashing towards the great sun demon venerable with 1,000 feet of divine light. Bang! The heavens and earth shook and the sky shattered. Boundless divine radiance shot out and eventually, it was destroyed. The great sun demon supremacy's fist radiance was blocked. Long Lai? You're finally here. The old voice resounded and 2 bright gazes landed on Long Lai. Radiance shone brightly in the sky. Long Lai brought the Yin-Yang Grand Elder, Ling Xiao and Phoenix Woman to the sky above the blazing mountain. They exuded a terrifying aura. Long Lai wore a 5-claw golden dragon robe and a dragon crown on his head. He had a heroic figure and a dignified face. His cold gaze landed on the figure opposite him. As the faint light dissipated, the great sun demon venerable's figure appeared before everyone. He was an old man with white hair and beard. His face was rosy like a baby's and he wore a yin-yang Taoist robe. He looked like a transcendent being. His eyes were deep and bright as though they contained 2 suns. He exuded a blazing aura. However, Ling Xiao could see that the great sun demon supremacy was emitting a faint death qi. It was hard to detect, but it was there. Ling Xiao knew that the great sun demon supremacy did not have much time left. Ling Xiao had some impression of the great sun demon supremacy. 10,000 years ago, when Ling Xiao was the strongest in the world, the great sun demon supremacy was the young palace master of the sky demon palace. However, Ling Xiao did not pay much attention to the great sun demon supremacy as he had just broken through to the supreme realm. Now, 10,000 years had passed and the great sun demon supremacy was already a titled being. His cultivation was unfathomable and his aura was even stronger than Long Lai's. However, he did not have much time left. The dragon tribe's reinforcements are here. When the people from the blazing mountain saw Long Lai and the others in the sky, they were all extremely excited. The 3 supreme elders of the blazing mountain also took a deep breath, and a hint of relief appeared in their eyes. They could see that Long Lai had already become a titled being. It seemed like there was hope for the blazing mountain. Lin Hui looked at Ling Xiao and Phoenix Woman who were standing side by side in the sky, and he had a complicated look in his eyes. He had thought that Ling Xiao was just a lone cultivator. However, news had spread recently that Ling Xiao was actually a member of the dragon tribe. He was the nephew of the Dragon King, Long Lai. Thinking about it, the person he hated the most had really come to save him. This made him feel extremely conflicted. Long Lai, you have indeed taken this step. Chapter 703. It's all thanks to you. If you didn't tell me about the dragon tomb, I wouldn't have broken through so quickly. However, you don't have much time left. Why don't you focus on comprehending the heavenly Tao and break through to the godly spirit realm? Why do you want to be tainted by the mortal world? Even if you unify the demon race, what can you do? Long Lai said slowly. You know that unifying the demon race is just a matter of convenience. My target is you. If you lead the Crystal Palace and surrender to me, I'll let go of the blazing mountain immediately. How about it? The great sun demon sovereign smiled faintly. His gaze landed on Long Lai with a tinge of passion. Long Lai sighed and said, In the past, you were the elder that I respected the most. You are also the benefactor of the Crystal Palace. However, time really changes a person. In the face of death, no one can be so indifferent. If you want to use the people of the dragon race to refine the dragon blood divine pill, then come at me. Long Lai, I don't know if you are really stupid or infatuated. You know that this is a trap, but you are still willing to come. Looks like you are deeply in love with Hualing. The great sun demon sovereign smiled faintly. Long Lai's eyes revealed a tinge of emotion. However, he quickly regained his composure and said, You think too much. I just don't want to see the people of the demon race killing each other. If you want my life, then come. Call out all your helpers. Today we will settle this once and for all. You have a backbone. You are exactly the same as your father. Long Lai, you can only blame the imperfections in this world for blocking my path to becoming a godly spirit. If not, I wouldn't want to kill you. This really wasn't my intention. Brothers, come out. The great sun demon Venerable sighed softly. Rumble. Lightning flashed in the void and the sky shook. In the north, black divine light surged, and a huge black coffin came through the sky, exuding a monstrous baleful aura. A middle-aged man with long hair draped over his shoulders walked out of the coffin. He wore a black robe and exuded an endless cold death aura, as if he had come from the 9 Serenities hell. In the west, the Buddhist light was dazzling. An extremely old monk in a red robe slowly walked over. He walked barefoot, and with every step he took, a blood-red lotus would appear in the void. There was a faint sound of Sanskrit chanting around him, mysterious and resplendent. In the north, a resplendent star emitted millions of rays of starlight, illuminating a divine rainbow across the sky. A young man in white had a faint smile on his face. Starlight sprinkled around his body, making him look ethereal and transcendent. The great sun demon Venerable occupied the south and surrounded Long Lai in the center. The master of Emperor Tu Mountain, Heavenly Corpse Di Xian, the Trailokaiavijaya of Ming Wang Temple, and the master of Star Palace, Star Emperor. Looks like you really hired a lot of people just to take my life. Long Lai glanced at the 3 of them indifferently as a sharp glint appeared in his eyes. Although Sky Corpse Di Xian, Trailokaiavijaya, and Star Emperor were only at the peak of the 9th level of the Supreme Realm and had yet to attain a title, they had the fluctuation of a divine weapon on them. Their true abilities were not weaker than a titled Supreme Being. Ling Xiao was shocked that 4 peerless experts with the fighting power of a titled Supreme Being were mobilized just to kill Long Lai. This great sun demon Venerable was truly a vicious person. Greetings, Dragon King. I did not expect Dragon King to attain a title before us. However, we cannot go against God's will. Dragon King, please surrender. Trailokaiavijaya chanted Buddha's name and said with a smile, Dragon King, surrender immediately if you don't want to die. Long Lai, the great sun demon Venerable, is the recognized leader of the monster tribe. If you dare to disobey, you will be sentenced to death. Star Emperor and Sky Corpse Di Xian did not give Long Lai any face as they scolded coldly. Star Palace, Emperor Tomb Mountain, and Crystal Palace did not have a good relationship. It could even be said that they were enemies. Hence, the two of them were the ones who wanted to kill Long Lai the most. Pa, if you want to take my life, let's see if you have the ability to do so. All of you can come together. What do I have to fear? Long Lai exuded a vast and terrifying dragon power. His real dragon bloodline was boundless and surging like the sea. Moreover, there was a faint fluctuation that was about to condense and break through some kind of limit. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he felt the power of the secret skill of the ancestral dragon. It seemed that Long Lai had reached a bottleneck in his cultivation of the secret skill of the ancestral dragon. This battle was a crisis, but it was also an opportunity. Long Lai probably wanted to use the 4 experts to train himself so that he could condense the real dragon body. Ling Xiao, I will send you and Phoenix Girl into the Blazing Mountain now. Be careful. If you can heal Fire Phoenix Sovereign's injuries, that would be the best. If you can't, don't force yourself. Stay in the 9 Suns Burning Sky Array. After I settle these 4 guys, I will come and get you. Long Lai transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao. A dazzling light enveloped Ling Xiao and Phoenix Girl, and they instantly transformed into a ray of light that shot towards the 9 Suns Burning Sky Array. The great sun demon Exalt's eyes flashed. He didn't pay too much attention to them when he saw that they were only Monarch Realm experts. His attention was completely focused on Long Lai. Let's fight outside the 9 heavens. Long Lai spoke indifferently as he instantly transformed into a ray of golden light that shot into the sky. Swoosh, swoosh. The great sun demon Exalt, Heavenly Corpse Di Xian, Trailokai Vijaya, and Star Emperor exchanged glances before they instantly followed after him. The strength of a titled Exalt was too terrifying. If a battle really broke out, then the Blazing Mountain in an area of 5,000 kilometers would probably be razed to the ground. To titled Exalts, the boundless space outside the 9 heavens was the place where they would fight. There was no need to say anything. Killing intent flashed in the eyes of the 2 supreme elders of the Dragon Clan, and they charged towards the 4 demon Exalts. Rumble! Within the Blazing Mountain, the 3 supreme elders also charged out from the 9 Suns Burning Sky Array. They gathered together with the Yin-Yang Supreme Elder and began to fight the 4 demon Exalts. The 4 demon Exalts had the 4 symbols divine sabers in their hands that were extremely powerful. They intertwined with each other to form a powerful battle formation of the 4 symbols. Even if they were facing 5 Exalts, they weren't afraid at all. In an instant, the battle between Exalts erupted. Dazzling divine light surged in the sky as the space trembled violently. Countless mountains in the surroundings were reduced to dust, and the Blazing Mountain was also trembling violently. However, with the protection of the 9 Suns Burning Sky Array, it wasn't damaged at all. Ling Xiao and Phoenix Girl landed in the Blazing Mountain and were instantly surrounded by the elders and disciples of the Blazing Mountain. The Saintess is back. Saintess, who is he? Phoenix Girl was obviously the goddess in the hearts of the disciples of the Blazing Mountain. All the male disciples revealed an extremely excited expression. However, when they saw Ling Xiao, their eyes revealed a trace of hostility. Chapter 704. Ling Xiao. Lin Hui spoke slowly while a trace of a complicated expression appeared in his eyes. Ling Xiao? Who's Ling Xiao? I remember now. Could it be that Ling Xiao who defeated the heaven-scorching demon emperor in the hallowed grounds and killed 4 elders of the Hydra clan in succession? Someone exclaimed, and then his entire body shook while a trace of reverence appeared in his eyes. He was the most popular peerless genius on Wargod continent, and practically all the news during this period of time was related to him. He'd defeated the heaven-scorching demon emperor and replaced him as the 10th on the Ascension rankings. He'd made the entire continent pay attention to him. Most importantly, Ling Zhao's cultivation was only at the 9th level of the Monarch realm, yet he'd ascended the Ascension rankings. Many people guessed that if Ling Xiao really broke through to the quasi-exalt realm, then he might have the strength to fight for the first position on the Ascension rankings. Senior brother Lin, Where's Master? How is she now? Phoenix Maiden hurriedly asked while her eyes were filled with extreme worry. Junior Sister Phoenix, Master's condition isn't good. Lin Hui sighed lightly and said, the great sun demon Exalt led the experts of the Sky Demon Palace to besiege Flame Mountain. Master was injured by the great sun demon Exalt, and she's in a coma now. She's recuperating in True Phoenix Hall, and the Supreme Elders and Grand Elders are helpless against her injuries. What? Phoenix Maiden's face instantly turned pale. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he suddenly asked, can I take a look at the Fire Phoenix Sovereign? Lin Hui laughed bitterly. Even though he'd harbored enmity towards Ling Zhao, it had vanished after the Sky Demon Palace invaded. Ling Zhao's natural talent in the martial Dao was extraordinary, but he still didn't believe that Ling Zhao could heal the Fire Phoenix Sovereign's injuries. I'm an alchemist. Perhaps I can do something about the Fire Phoenix Sovereign's injuries. Ling Zhao smiled. That's right. Senior brother Lin, let Ling Zhao give it a try. His skill in the Pill Dao is very high, and his methods are miraculous. Perhaps he really can heal Master's injuries. Phoenix Maiden hurriedly added. Everyone from the Blazing Mountain had a suspicious look in their eyes. Ling Zhao looked too young, and his martial arts talent was superb. Even if he was an alchemist, he was probably just an ordinary alchemist. He was not even an alchemist grandmaster, so what use could he be? Perhaps only a Pill Dao supremacy would have a way to heal Sovereign Fire Phoenix's current injuries. However, Paragon Fire Phoenix was heavily injured, and the 3 Grand Elders were engaged in battle. The person with the highest status in the Blazing Mountain was the Holy Sun, Lin Hui. Although everyone was suspicious, they were still waiting for him to make a decision. Looking at Ling Zhao's calm expression, Lin Hui somehow believed him. All right, you can give it a try. Lin Hui gritted his teeth. He did not have much hope in his heart, but if Ling Zhao could cure Sovereign Fire Phoenix, then the outcome of this battle would be changed. Thank you. Ling Zhao smiled faintly as he looked at Lin Hui in surprise. Lin Hui had been very hostile towards him when they were in the Holy Ground, but it seemed that hostility had disappeared now. Come with me. Lin Hui smiled bitterly and led Ling Zhao and the Phoenix Maiden to the True Phoenix Hall. The True Phoenix Hall was located at the top of the Blazing Mountain. It was the place where Paragon Fire Phoenix usually cultivated in seclusion. It was connected to the geocentric fire vein and connected to the essence of the sun. It was a supreme holy ground for cultivation. The True Phoenix Hall was majestic and magnificent. It was filled with red clouds, and there were runes flashing on it. It looked like a phoenix spreading its wings and giving off an ancient and mysterious aura. Brother Ling, if you can heal Master's injuries, you will be my benefactor. I, Lin Hui, will not hesitate to go through fire and water for you. Lin Hui looked at Ling Zhao seriously and said in front of the True Phoenix Hall. No need to be so serious. I will do my best. Ling Zhao smiled faintly. Buzz. Lin Hui nodded, and a red talisman appeared in his hand. A bright light shone on the True Phoenix Hall, and the 2 doors slowly opened. Lin Hui led Ling Zhao and the Phoenix Maiden into the True Phoenix Hall. Inside the True Phoenix Palace, scarlet multicolored light curled about. The flames were resplendent, and at the very center was a scarlet stone platform. Its surroundings were full of ancient and mysterious patterns, as if they were carved from some type of bone. They emitted a powerful pressure. On the stone platform was a woman in a red dress. The woman looked to be in her 20s. She was extremely young, and her face was flawless. There was a soul-stirring beauty about her. Her figure was perfect, and her curves were exquisite. Her skin was as white as jade, and she gave off an otherworldly aura. She looked graceful and elegant, and she had a different kind of aura. She was like a queen who had been in a high position for a long time, and she was inviolable. She was Paragon Fire Phoenix. However, she was not in a good state at the moment. There was a palm print on her chest, surrounded by mysterious flames. Runes filled the air, as if they were eroding her vitality. Paragon Fire Phoenix had already fallen into a coma. She was only relying on her instincts to protect her body. A faint supreme divine aura was fighting against the flames, but her aura was getting weaker. Sun True Fire? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he saw that the flame on Paragon Fire Phoenix's chest was the legendary Sun True Fire. Moreover, it contained a mysterious fluctuation of laws that could not be extinguished at all. Paragon Fire Phoenix also cultivated fire attribute mystical powers. She had Phoenix True Fire in her body, but she could not do anything to this Sun True Fire. It could be seen how terrifying and domineering the great Sun Demon Venerable was. Brother Ling, do you have a way to treat Master's injuries? Lin Hui glanced at Ling Xiao and asked. He was even prepared for Ling Xiao to be powerless. I can. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he nodded. What? This time, it was Lin Hui's turn to be surprised. He did not think that Ling Xiao could really heal Paragon Fire Phoenix. That wisp of Sun True Fire was extremely terrifying. Even the 3 Grand Elders were helpless, and Ling Xiao actually told him with absolute certainty that he could heal her. However, I need some spirit medicine and natural treasures. I will have to trouble Brother Lin to help me get them. Ling Xiao said slowly. Brother Ling, please say. No matter what you need, as long as it can heal Master, I will get it for you even if I have to snatch it. Lin Hui said, thumping his chest. I need Blazing Phoenix Deathless Flower, Phoenix Blood Fruit, Spirit Fusing Godwood, Star Sea Godvine. Without hesitation, Ling Xiao listed out a large number of spirit medicines and natural treasures. All of the spirit medicines he listed were peerless holy medicines, as well as top-tier natural treasures. However, Lin Hui didn't even frown. With that, he hurried out of True Phoenix Hall. Brother Ling, please wait a moment. I'll be back soon. Phoenix Maiden looked worriedly at Paragon Fire Phoenix. Ling Xiao, can Master's injuries really be healed? Don't worry. With me around, not even the Grim Reaper can take your Master's life. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his eyes shining with confidence. Although he still wasn't as strong as he had been in his previous life, he had the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron, which meant that his skill in the Tao of Alchemy was at 50% of what it had been in his previous life. Therefore, concocting Paragon pills wasn't going to be a problem for him. Furthermore, although Paragon Fire Phoenix's Sun True Fire was powerful, it was not a problem for Ling Xiao. Chapter 705. Not long after, Lin Hui brought over the Saint Elixirs and treasures that Ling Xiao needed. Wait outside True Phoenix Hall. I'll heal Paragon Flame Phoenix. Ling Xiao nodded with satisfaction and smiled. Please. Lin Hui said, giving Ling Xiao a serious look. Then he and Phoenix Maiden left True Phoenix Hall. Rumble. The doors of True Phoenix Hall slammed shut, and Ling Xiao walked over to Paragon Flame Phoenix. Paragon Flame Phoenix's sunfire was something that even a paragon would have trouble dispelling. But Ling Xiao had the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron, and his heaven-devouring secret magic was the perfect counter to it. The reason why Ling Xiao had allowed Lin Hui to take so many sacred medicines and natural treasures was not only to heal Sovereign Fire Phoenix, but also to help her improve. More importantly, Ling Xiao had also asked for some treasures for himself. He would treat it as interest for treating Sovereign Fire Phoenix. There were some holy medicines and precious materials in the Mountain of Flames that Ling Xiao needed to cultivate his true Phoenix secret magic, and Lin Hui had given them to him. That sunfire is so powerful. It already contains paragon magical laws. If it weren't for the imperfections in heaven and earth, it might even be able to evolve into God Spirit Flame. Ling Xiao stood in front of Sovereign Fire Phoenix and stared at the wisps of true sun flame in front of her chest. His eyes revealed a trace of amazement. At this moment, Fire Phoenix Sovereign had fallen into a state of unconsciousness. Although she was wearing a red dress, the mountain peaks in front of her chest were towering. A trace of a deep ravine spread out, bringing with it a different kind of temptation and charm. As for that wisp of true sun flame, it was coiled around the Fire Phoenix Sovereign's chest. It was extremely charming and gentle, causing Lin Xiai to smile bitterly. Paragon Flame Phoenix was his uncle's old lover, and if she really did end up with Long Lai, then Ling Xiao would have to call her aunt. Of course, if he wanted to heal her, he would have to get intimate with her. Hopefully, Paragon Flame Phoenix wouldn't wake up while he was healing her. Whiz. Calming himself, Ling Xiao drew on his Heaven Devourer's secret magic, causing the King Heaven Devourer cauldron to transform into a beam of light that landed in front of Paragon Flame Phoenix's chest. Rumble! The golden divine light was dazzling. Runes intertwined and formed a mysterious golden vortex. It began to devour the wisp of grand sun primordial flame. Apparently, the stream of true flame from the sun seemed to sense the threat posed by the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, and it began thrumming as if to try to enter Paragon Flame Phoenix. "Where are you going?" A sharp light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. His palm fell, and a golden palm print landed on Sovereign Fire Phoenix's chest. Immediately, runes surged out, cutting off Sovereign Fire Phoenix's escape route. Rumble! The primordial fire of the sun seemed to have erupted at this moment. The blazing flames burned fiercely and instantly rushed towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao didn't seem flustered at all. Expression calm, he waved his hand and the King Heaven Devourer cauldron sucked in all of the true flame of the sun. Golden Heaven Devouring flame spread out, drawing on the power of the King Heaven Devourer cauldron to absorb it. Very quickly, this wisp of true sunfire was completely refined by Ling Xiao. Then, the King Heaven Devourer cauldron became a beam of golden light that flowed through Paragon Flame Phoenix's meridians, devouring the true sunfire that had invaded her meridians. Ling Xiao realized that Paragon Flame Phoenix's sea of consciousness had been sealed by the true sunfire and had been seriously injured. Otherwise, she wouldn't have fallen unconscious. Whiz! The King Heaven Devourer cauldron was being very careful, as if it didn't want to harm Paragon Flame Phoenix's sea of consciousness. Therefore, it began to absorb the true sunfire. After the true sunfire on Fire Phoenix Sovereign's body was refined, the power that devoured her life force disappeared. Fire Phoenix Sovereign's injuries instantly improved at a speed visible to the naked eye. A mysterious yet warm power flowed through her, and she floated up into the air, emanating the might of a paragon. Then she opened her eyes. It was as if two beams of fiery divine light had pierced through the heavens. It was a pair of bright and resplendent eyes that landed on Ling Xiao with a hint of surprise. "Were you the one who saved me? Or you?" Her expression was calm, and it was impossible to tell if she was happy or angry. Junior Ling Xiao greets Paragon Flame Phoenix. "Long Lai is my uncle, and he led his forces to reinforce Mount Flaming. I'm here to heal you." Ling Xiao grinned as he glanced at Paragon Flame Phoenix. "Ling Xiao? The Ling Xiao who defeated the Heaven-Scorched Demon Emperor? So it's you." Paragon Flame Phoenix's eyes revealed a trace of surprise as she sized Ling Xiao up. "You were able to defeat the Heaven-Scorched Demon Emperor and ascend to the 10th position on the Ascension rankings while at the 9th level of the Monarch realm. Your natural talent really is extraordinary. Looks like you really do have some secrets since you were able to dispel the true sunfire on me. You saved me, so I owe you a favor." Bang! A powerful aura surged out from Paragon Flame Phoenix, and then her figure flashed down from the stone platform with the intention of leaving True Phoenix Hall. "Wait!" Ling Xiao stopped her and grinned. "Paragon Flame Phoenix, Heavenly Corpse Di Xian, Trailokaya Vijaya, Star Emperor, and the Great Sun Demon Exalt have joined forces against my uncle. You've just recovered from your heavy injuries, and your cultivation hasn't fully recovered. You probably won't be of any help to the battle if you leave now." "Oh? What do you intend to do?" Paragon Flame Phoenix glanced at Ling Xiao in an indifferent manner. "Paragon Flame Phoenix, you've been at the peak of the 9th level of the Exalt realm for over 1,000 years, right? Your accumulations are deep, and it's entirely sufficient to attain a title. You just lack a critical factor." A bright light flashed through Ling Xiao's eyes, and he grinned. "Attaining a title? Easier said than done. It wouldn't be surprising even if I stayed there for another 1,000 years. A title represents the peak of the mortal Tao, and it's far from being so easy to break through." Paragon Flame Phoenix smiled faintly. "Paragon Flame Phoenix, this is your fortuitous encounter to attain a title." Ling Xiao smiled faintly and passed a jade talisman to Paragon Flame Phoenix. Paragon Flame Phoenix received it, and her entire body instantly shook when she saw the contents of the jade talisman while disbelief appeared in her eyes. Because the jade talisman recorded a portion of the true phoenix secret technique. This is the true phoenix secret art. I accidentally obtained it in a ruin. Cultivate this true phoenix nirvana art to the extreme and comprehend the power of life and death. That will be the time for you to prove your Tao and be titled. Ling Xiao said slowly. Paragon Flame Phoenix looked deeply at Ling Xiao and said, True Phoenix Secret Technique? This is the supreme secret technique of my Phoenix clan. The secret technique that Xiao Wu cultivates should have been passed down to her by you, right? Why did you give it to me? Ling Xiao smiled and said, I heard that you almost became my aunt, and I can see that uncle is still deeply in love with you. This time, when he heard that something happened to you, he immediately rushed over. So since we're family, why are there so many whys? Chapter 706. Your uncle really still misses me? There was a trace of nervousness and anticipation in Sovereign Fire Phoenix's eyes. Of course. Ling Xiao smiled and betrayed long lie. Uncle has always had you in his heart, but he was afraid that you would be wronged, so he didn't dare to reveal his true feelings. Really? Fire Phoenix Prime was slightly stunned, and her eyes were a little dazed. Auntie, don't be in a daze. Hurry up and cultivate. With this true Phoenix secret technique and a nirvana pill that I'll refine for you, you'll definitely be able to attain a title. Uncle is surrounded by those four fellows, and I don't know how long he can hold on. Ling Xiao interrupted her and urged her with a smile. Alright. Ling Xiao, let's begin. Fire Phoenix Prime took a deep breath and nodded. The 9th level Supreme Realm seemed to be only one level away from the 10th level Supreme Realm, but the difference was like heaven and earth. The 10th level Supreme Realm was the titled Supreme Realm. It was the pinnacle of human strength and represented a certain extreme power. Just like how Fire Phoenix Prime cultivated the true Phoenix Nirvana technique. Once she could comprehend the power of life and death and cultivate it to the extreme, she would be able to attain a title and attain the pinnacle of strength. The reason why she had been stuck at the 9th level Supreme Realm for so many years was because she had never found the direction to break through. The true Phoenix Nirvana technique was a supreme ability of the true Phoenix secret technique. It represented the origin of the true Phoenix's Nirvana power. If Fire Phoenix Prime could cultivate the true Phoenix Nirvana technique to the extreme and comprehend the power of the cycle of life and death, she would be able to possess near-immortal strength. No matter how serious the injury was, as long as there was a drop of blood left, a trace of primordial spirit, she could be reborn. Ling Xiao could see that Fire Phoenix Prime's true Phoenix Nirvana technique had already reached an extremely profound level. She only needed an opportunity to reach perfection. And this time, being rewarded by the great Sun Demon Venerable was also a very good opportunity. When the true Sun Fire was constantly devouring her vitality, it allowed her to comprehend a trace of the true meaning of Nirvana. Buzz. Fire Phoenix Prime sat cross-legged, and blazing flames spread around her. There seemed to be a fire phoenix soaring into the sky behind her, emitting a mysterious and majestic fluctuation. Fire Phoenix Prime began to comprehend the mysteries of the true Phoenix secret technique, and the aura on her body began to fluctuate. Supreme Fire Phoenix sucked in a breath of air. Divine light surged around her body, and her life source was incomparably boundless. Her blood and chi boiled, surging endlessly. When she exhaled, it was as if her life had come to an end. Her aura dimmed, and her entire being became gloomy. This was the reincarnation of life and death, and also the power of Nirvana. Sovereign Fire Phoenix was originally someone overflowing with talent. Regarding the profound mysteries of the true Phoenix Nirvana art, it was quickly comprehended by her. And when Ling Xiao saw the aura on Fire Phoenix Sovereign's body, he began to refine the Nirvana pill with ease. The Nirvana elixir contained a trace of Nirvana energy. It was the supreme elixir of the ancient Phoenix clan. Lin Hui had already sent all the necessary elixirs and treasures to Ling Xiao. Given his current level of strength and the power of the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron, concocting Nirvanic rebirth pills wouldn't be a problem. Rumble. The King Heaven Devourer cauldron floated in front of Ling Xiao, burning with heaven-devouring flame. Ling Xiao sat down cross-legged in true Phoenix Hall, throwing one sage medicine after another into the cauldron to begin the Nirvana pill. This was Ling Xiao's first time concocting Paragon pills, and yet, he didn't seem at all rusty. In fact, his movements were as smooth as flowing water. Whiz! As the sage medicine and treasures flew into the cauldron, the Heaven Devourer cauldron burned away all impurities and transformed them into a glittering, five-colored liquid. Ling Xiao performed a double-handed incantation gesture, causing the heaven-devouring flame to tremble and transform into 9 dazzling true dragons, all of which radiated 9-colored light. Instantly, the King Heaven Devourer cauldron began to emit dazzling light. Sage medicine contained the mysterious power of magical laws, and Ling Xiao was combining the quintessence of the medicine with that power to create the power of nirvanic rebirth, which would help Paragon Fire Phoenix break through to the next level. With the King Heaven Devourer cauldron and the Heaven Devourer cauldron connected to Ling Xiao, the speed at which he concocted the pills increased by tenfold. A few hours later, the King Heaven Devourer cauldron began to vibrate, and 3 round medicinal pills floated there like stars, emanating mysterious light. Ryumble. In the sky above the true Phoenix Palace, dark clouds rolled and mysterious lightning began to gather. It was dazzling and dazzling, releasing a powerful wave of heavenly might. As soon as the 3 pills flew out of the King Heaven Devourer cauldron, 3 bolts of black lightning appeared in true Phoenix Hall and surrounded the 3 pills. It was pill tribulation. Paragon pills contained the magical laws of heaven and earth, and when a paragon pill was formed, it was only natural that tribulation lightning would appear. According to the legends, paragon god pills could cause the Tao of heaven to resonate and cause terrifying pill tribulation. Anyone who tried to concoct them would be struck by lightning, and the slightest mistake could lead to death. That's pill tribulation. Outside the true Phoenix Hall, Lin Hui's body trembled as he looked at the rolling lightning in the void. His eyes were filled with disbelief. That was pill tribulation for paragon pills. Could it be that Ling Xiao was also a paragon of the Tao of alchemy? But how was that even possible? Ling Xiao was only 20 years old. Even if he had started practicing cultivation in his mother's womb, his heaven-defying talent on the martial path would still be terrifying. Lin Hui could never have guessed that Ling Xiao's skill in the Tao of alchemy would be even more terrifying. He was a paragon of the Tao of alchemy. In all of the War God continent, there were only a handful of such people. Lin Hui felt like he was in a dream, and his confidence had taken a huge hit. Ling Xiao is concocting paragon pills. It seems Master can be saved. The Phoenix Maiden's eyes also revealed a trace of pleasant surprise. She was filled with blind confidence in Ling Xiao. Ever since the 8 Desolates region, she had witnessed Ling Xiao create miracles step by step. At this moment, let alone refining a supreme being pill, even if Ling Xiao refined a transcendent divine pill, she wouldn't be too surprised. Rumble. Outside of the 9 Suns heaven-burning grand formation, the tiger, leopard, wolf, and bear demon sovereigns were fighting the 3 prime elders of the Mountain of Flames. They had also noticed the pill tribulation above the blazing mountain, and their eyes were filled with shock. Paragon pills? Don't tell me there's another paragon of the Tao of alchemy in the Mountain of Flames, treating Paragon Flame Phoenix? The Tiger Demon Venerable and the others were all shocked, and their eyes revealed a trace of solemnity. The 4 demon sovereigns used the battle formation of 4 symbols. Although they were evenly matched with the 5 prime elders of the Crystal Palace and the Mountain of Flames, it would be dangerous if Paragon Flame Phoenix recovered from her injuries. The 4 demon sovereigns became anxious, and they hoped that the Great Sun Demon Sovereign would deal with Long Lai as soon as possible. Otherwise, once Paragon Flame Phoenix recovered from her injuries, they would be defeated. Even if the 4 demon sovereigns' lives weren't in danger, the Sky Demon Palace's battle against the Mountain of Flames would be lost. The aura of paragon pills? Looks like the Mountain Master will recover soon. The 3 prime elders of the Mountain of Flames laughed loudly, and they charged towards the 4 demon sovereigns. The Grand Elder of the Yin Yang told them that Long Lai had already sent someone to treat Paragon Flame Phoenix. The 3 prime elders of the Mountain of Flames thought that it was a paragon of the Tao of alchemy, but they didn't expect the pill tribulation to be caused by Ling Xiao. Rumble. The battle between the 9 prime elders was getting more and more intense. And in the True Phoenix Hall, after the 3 Nirvana pills went through the pill tribulation, they turned into 3 pills with black and white light intertwining and landed in Ling Xiao's palm. The Nirvana pills have been formed. If I don't prove my Tao now, when will I? Ling Xiao flicked his finger, and a Nirvana pill flew towards Paragon Flame Phoenix. He took a deep breath and suddenly shouted. Chapter 707. The Nirvana pill contained a trace of Nirvana Chi. It was a power that was neither alive nor dead. It was also the source of the True Phoenix secret technique. It was the power of Nirvana that allowed the Phoenix clan to possess an almost immortal energy. They could be reborn from the ashes and return from Nirvana. Fire Phoenix Sovereign cultivated the True Phoenix Nirvana technique. Now, she only needed an opportunity to comprehend the state of being neither alive nor dead. Then, she would be able to cultivate the True Phoenix Nirvana technique to perfection and prove her Tao. The Nirvana pill flew towards Fire Phoenix Sovereign. In an instant, it flew into the space between her eyebrows like a stream of light. Boom! A monstrous flame rose up. The aura around Fire Phoenix Sovereign surged. Amidst the raging flames, a mysterious and majestic Fire Phoenix soared into the sky. It let out an earth-shattering cry and pierced through the clouds. The aura of the Fire Phoenix Sovereign instantly began to skyrocket. Her red dress fluttered as she sat cross-legged in the midst of the raging flames. Her appearance was absolutely beautiful, graceful, and luxurious. She slowly floated up, faintly merging with the Fire Phoenix behind her. Kacha! Above the 9 heavens, the lightning was dazzling. Heaven and earth trembled. Endless divine light gushed out, illuminating the entire sky. Bolts of lightning fell from the 9 heavens, bringing with them the mysterious power of law. It was as if they wanted to completely annihilate Fire Phoenix Sovereign. This was the resonance of the heavenly Tao. The lightning tribulation that descended represented the peak of human Tao. A terrifying and vast aura spread out from the Fire Phoenix Sovereign's body. Raging flames rose, and a phoenix cry rang out. She was like a phoenix that had been reborn from the flames, slowly walking out from the endless sea of fire. Buzz. Her eyes opened and looked at the sky. They were like 2 blazing divine lights that instantly pierced through the endless world. Rumble. The lightning tribulation that filled the sky fell with a loud bang, enveloping Fire Phoenix Sovereign with a monstrous aura. Now's the time. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He also slapped a Nirvana pill into the space between his eyebrows. He circulated the True Phoenix secret technique and began to cultivate the True Phoenix Nirvana technique with the help of the Nirvana power emitted by Fire Phoenix Sovereign. When the True Phoenix's Nirvana technique was cultivated to its peak, even if one was left with only a sliver of primordial spirit or a drop of blood, they could still be reborn. Previously, Ling Xiao had already faintly comprehended the path of the fusion of secret arts. If the ancestral dragon secret arts and the True Phoenix secret arts were fused, that kind of power would be earth-shattering, and killing supreme beings would be a piece of cake. It was just that Ling Xiao's ancestral dragon secret technique had already condensed the heavenly dragon body, and the True Phoenix secret technique had only comprehended the Nirvana divine ability. Now, using the opportunity of Fire Phoenix Sovereign attaining her Tao title, he could cultivate the True Phoenix secret technique to the same level as the ancestral dragon secret technique. Boom! Black and white energies flowed, representing the power of the cycle of life and death. They gathered around Ling Xiao's body. When Sovereign Fire Phoenix broke through, Ling Xiao also began to borrow this boundless power to break through. Outside the True Phoenix Hall. This is the power of the pinnacle of humanity? The 4 demon venerables shuddered. Their eyes were filled with disbelief, and their bodies began to tremble. That monstrous aura of the sea of fire came from the blazing mountain below, and it was extremely familiar. It was clearly the aura of Fire Phoenix Sovereign. However, wasn't Fire Phoenix Sovereign injured by the great sun demon venerable? Previously, she had already fallen into a coma, so how could she have attained her Tao title now? Their hearts were filled with doubt and fear. The aura of the Supreme Pill previously only made them afraid that Fire Phoenix Sovereign would be a threat to them after she recovered. But now, the 4 demon venerables were truly afraid. That was the power of a titled Supreme Being. The pinnacle of humanity, invincible. If Fire Phoenix Sovereign really attained her Tao title, then the 4 of them probably wouldn't even be able to escape. Mountain Lord broke through? Oh, the heavens bless our blazing mountain. The 3 grand elders of the blazing mountain all revealed ecstatic expressions, their eyes filled with excitement and fanaticism. Although they didn't know why Fire Phoenix Sovereign would suddenly break through, this was exciting news for the entire blazing mountain. As for the Dragon Clan's Yin-Yang Grand Elder, Ling Zhao's figure suddenly appeared in his mind. This little guy really did it? Kill. Even if we have to risk our lives, we have to keep them here. The 3 grand elders of the blazing mountain all had cold expressions on their faces. Killing intent burned in their eyes as they all used their ultimate techniques to attack the 4 demon venerables. Rumble. The battle between the 9 supreme beings became more and more intense. Terrifying divine light filled the sky, and the surrounding mountains were all turned into dust, drowning in the endless sea of fire. Big brother, what should we do? The leopard demon venerable, the wolf demon venerable, and the bear demon venerable tried their best to resist while looking at the tiger demon venerable with a trace of panic in their eyes. Damn it! That old woman Fire Phoenix was clearly seriously injured by the palace master. How could she break through at this time? It's really a waste of effort. The tiger demon venerable's expression was also very ugly, and he was very unwilling to accept this. They were about to completely take down the blazing mountain. Who would have thought that Fire Phoenix Sovereign would break through at this time? Let's go. When the palace master finishes off Long Lai, we'll come back to take care of the blazing mountain. Although the tiger demon venerable was very unwilling, he knew that he had to leave at this time. Otherwise, when Fire Phoenix Sovereign passed the heavenly tribulation, they wouldn't be able to leave even if they wanted to. You want to leave? Do you think my blazing mountain is a place where you can come and go as you please? At this moment, a dignified and clear voice rang out in the sky above the blazing mountain. The 4 demon venerables' expressions changed drastically. Rumble. The heavenly tribulation was vast and mysterious. A figure shrouded in flames soared into the sky like a phoenix bathed in fire, exuding a monstrous divine might. Fire Phoenix Sovereign. She bathed in the heavenly tribulation, and a sea of fire rose around her body. Strands of nirvana chi filled the air. She had not completely passed the heavenly tribulation, but she actually charged towards the 4 demon venerables. The killing intent in her eyes blazed, causing the 4 demon venerables' expressions to become incomparably ugly. This crazy woman is simply courting death. She actually dares to attack us when she's undergoing the heavenly tribulation. Could it be that she wants to die together with us? The tiger demon venerable roared as the white tiger divine saber in his hand slashed across the sky. A terrifying saber light swept across the sky, shattering the heavenly tribulation that was coming towards him. Who wouldn't be careful when they were undergoing the heavenly tribulation? They were afraid that they would fall under the heavenly tribulation if they weren't careful. Especially Fire Phoenix Sovereign, who was still at the 9th level of the venerable realm. Only by passing the heavenly tribulation would she be considered a true titled venerable. She didn't obediently pass the heavenly tribulation, but actually wanted to chase after the 4 demon venerables? Rumble. Chapter 708. The 4 demon venerables were unlucky. Fire Phoenix Sovereign chased after them, and the terrifying lightning tribulation descended, causing their bodies to tremble. Even with the 4-division divine sabers, the lightning tribulation was too dense. Very quickly, they were struck by the lightning tribulation, and their bodies turned black as they coughed out blood and flew backwards. Fire Phoenix Sovereign also suffered the destructive power of the lightning tribulation, but her body was filled with nirvana chi. Under the threat of the lightning tribulation, she comprehended the power of the true Phoenix Nirvana technique even faster and charged towards the 4 demon venerables. Boom! Fire Phoenix Sovereign slapped out with her palm. Her slender fingers broke through the void, and a flaming palm soared through the sky, piercing through the layers of lightning as it headed towards Tiger Demon Venerable. Tiger Demon Venerable's expression changed as he hurriedly raised the White Tiger Divine Saber to block. With a buzzing sound, the White Tiger Divine Saber trembled violently as a terrifying law of fire spread towards Tiger Demon Venerable's body. Fight it out with her, kill? A trace of madness appeared in the eyes of the 4 demon venerables. They could tell that Fire Phoenix Sovereign really wanted their lives. She wanted to kill them even if she had to risk 10,000 bolts of lightning tribulation on her body. They also had the thought of risking their lives. The 4 division divine sabers soared through the sky and set up the battle formation of 4 division. As they blocked the lightning tribulation that filled the sky, they charged towards Fire Phoenix Sovereign. Rumble! In the sky above the flaming mountain, terrifying lightning bolts streaked across the sky. They were as thick as a mountain range and interweaved together, erupting with a terrifying destructive power. Large swaths of the void shattered as chaotic energy filled the air, as if the world was about to be destroyed. Endless lightning tribulation drowned out Fire Phoenix Sovereign and the 4 demon venerables. They could only hear the intense battle that erupted from within. The 3 supreme elders of the Flaming Mountain and the Yin-Yang supreme elder of the Dragon Clan had incomparably anxious expressions in their eyes. However, they did not dare to enter the lightning tribulation. If the 5 of them entered the range of the lightning tribulation, not only would they not be able to save Fire Phoenix Sovereign, the only possibility would be to increase the power of the lightning tribulation by 10 times or 100 times. At that time, everyone would probably be turned into dust by the lightning tribulation. Within the true Phoenix Hall, black and white divine light interweaved around Ling Zhao's body as a mysterious nirvana chi spread out. The blood in his body surged like waves as his life source became more and more majestic. Behind Ling Zhao, a 5-colored true phoenix appeared, exuding a mysterious and ancient aura. In the sea of fire, it transformed into various strange shapes. There was a mysterious aura around the 5-colored true phoenix. It was the nirvana chi that maintained the majestic vitality in its body. Ling Zhao circulated the true phoenix secret technique, and the 5-colored true phoenix slowly merged with Ling Zhao. Rumble! It was as if thunder had exploded between Ling Zhao's brows. The majestic medicinal strength of the rebirth pill spread out and instantly flowed through his entire body, causing every drop of blood, every inch of flesh, and every particle of his body to emit a strange vitality. Is this the true Phoenix Nirvana technique? It's really amazing. Ling Zhao sighed softly as a strange look appeared in his eyes. Previously, in the Holy Ground when he fought against Di Lin's autarch avatar, he had also used the true Phoenix Nirvanic art. However, that was only the tip of the iceberg of the true Phoenix secret art. It was far from being as profound as the Nirvanic chi. At this moment, Ling Zhao sensed that even if his body was completely shattered apart, the Nirvana chi within him would be able to instantly form a new body and recover his peak combat strength. However, the Nirvana chi within him was too little, and it could only support him to undergo a single round of nirvanic rebirth. After comprehending the Nirvana chi, the true Phoenix secret technique and Ancestral Dragon secret technique have reached a similar level of cultivation. I wonder how terrifying the fusion of secret realms would be if I were to utilize it now? A bright light flashed through Ling Zhao's eyes, and he revealed a trace of anticipation. Ling Zhao hadn't grasped the fusion of secret techniques, and he'd only utilized it a few times when he was in a life-and-death situation. However, Ling Zhao faintly sensed that so long as he maintained the balance between the true Phoenix secret technique and Ancestral Dragon secret technique, then perhaps he would be able to try utilizing the fusion of secret techniques once more. Rumble! Ling Zhao's aura rose explosively. After he comprehended the Nirvana chi, he relied on that extremely profound energy to finally charge through the 9th level of the Monarch Realm and attain perfection at the 10th level of the Monarch Realm. In other words, he was a half-step Exalt Realm. Half-step Exalt Realm. So long as Ling Zhao overcame the tribulation of the 4 symbols and the final Exalt tribulation, then he would be able to break through into the Exalt Realm. Ling Xiao sensed that he wasn't far away from the peak of his previous lifetime. Moreover, in this life, he was destined to surpass his previous life and walk a path of invincibility that no one before or after him would be able to surpass. Ling Xiao stood up from True Phoenix Hall. Suddenly, a bright light flashed through his eyes as he sensed a strand of icy cold killing intent erupt in the sky above Flame Mountain. Bang! A dazzling and resplendent translucent saber appeared in the sky above Flame Mountain. It instantly pierced through space and silently stabbed towards the Fire Phoenix Supreme Exalt's chest. The Fire Phoenix Supreme Exalt, who was in battle with the 4 demon exalts, felt a sense of danger arise in her heart, and flames surged throughout her body as she teleported away. However, the translucent saber was extremely mysterious. It carried an icy cold aura of death, and it left behind a bloody mark on her arm. "You scoundrel from the Netherworld Pavilion. You deserve death for hiding." Killing intent flashed through the Fire Phoenix Supreme Exalt's eyes. An ocean of flames arose behind her, and then a fire phoenix soared into the sky and instantly smashed toward space. Rumble! The flames burned fiercely and the void shattered. A black figure instantly escaped the fire phoenix's attack range like a ghost and appeared in front of everyone. It was a skinny old man in a black robe. He was short and had turbid eyes. He looked very ordinary, but when he picked up the saber, he was like a death god, emitting an aura of death that could freeze one's soul. As expected of the Fire Phoenix Supreme Exalt. "You were seriously injured by the Great Sun Demon Exalt, and you actually found the opportunity to attain a title. But today you must die." The black-robed old man laughed sinisterly, and there was a trace of incomparable jealousy in his eyes. He had stayed in the 9th level of the Supreme Exalt realm for a longer time than the Fire Phoenix Supreme Exalt, but he had been unable to break through. Seeing that his lifespan was about to run out, the Fire Phoenix Supreme Exalt had broken through today. Attaining a title was definitely a major event that would cause the entire War God continent to boil over. "Old man Luosheng? So it's you. Since your Netherworld Pavilion dares to get involved in this mess, then you shall stay here." Killing intent flashed in the Fire Phoenix Supreme Exalt's eyes as she pounced towards the old man Luosheng. Rumble! The sky shook, and dazzling lightning instantly enveloped the old man Luosheng. However, he was like a ghost, and his speed was so fast that even the lightning tribulation couldn't capture his aura. Buzz! The Luosheng saber in his hand flashed and instantly hid in the void, turning into countless black shadows that pounced towards the Fire Phoenix Supreme Exalt. Chapter 709. Kill. "We can't let them leave alive." The 3 supreme elders of the Mountain of Flames glanced at the 4 demon venerables with deep hatred and killing intent in their eyes. The hands of the 4 demon sovereigns were stained with the blood of countless disciples of the Blazing Mountain. Even if the Fire Phoenix sovereign didn't say anything, they wouldn't let the 4 demon sovereigns leave. "Kill!" The 2 supreme elders of the Dragon Clan also shouted coldly with killing intent burning in their eyes. They had let the 4 demon sovereigns escape last time. This time, they would definitely make them stay. A motley crew. "Do you think we're afraid of you? Brothers, form the 4 Guardian Divine Saber formation and kill these 5 old men." The Tiger Demon Sovereign's eyes revealed a trace of ferocity as he said coldly, "Yes." The other 3 demon sovereigns also sneered. Their eyes were cruel as killing intent surged from their bodies. The divine sabers in their hands were incomparably sharp. Rumble! The 4 guardian divine sabers soared into the sky like 4 dazzling gates. Light intertwined with each other, forming a blazing saber domain that charged towards the 5 demon sovereigns. Above the 9 heavens, the void trembled as battle cries shook the heavens. Terrifying divine light swept out in all directions. Streaks of blazing saber radiance fell from the 9 heavens like the Milky Way, displaying the ultimate killing power. The 4 demon sovereigns were telepathic. Together with the power of the 4 guardian divine sabers, they were able to display the combat strength of a peak sovereign. Although the combat strength of the 5 supreme elders wasn't weak, they were actually showing signs of being suppressed by the 4 demon sovereigns. Ling Xiao walked out of the True Phoenix Palace and looked indifferently at the Fire Phoenix Sovereign and old man Luosheng. His expression was calm. If an ordinary sovereign fought with old man Luosheng during the heavenly tribulation, they would probably die in the hands of the king of assassins. However, the Fire Phoenix Sovereign was different. The stronger the heavenly tribulation, the stronger the nirvana force in her body. It would also allow her to break through to the titled sovereign realm faster. At that time, no matter how strong the king of assassins was, he would definitely die. The 4 guardian divine sabers formation formed by the 4 demon sovereigns looked mighty and powerful. The 4 of them stood in 4 different directions. The 4 divine sabers hung high in the sky like the Milky Way. Blazing saber radiance intertwined as the 5 supreme elders struggled to resist. They were actually at a disadvantage. Although the 4 divisions divine saber formation is strong, it's a pity that you met me. Ling Xiao smiled coldly as a sharp glint appeared in his eyes. 5 elders, I am Ling Xiao. The 4-division divine saber array is the convergence of the Great Yang, Great Yin, Great Yang, and Great Yin forces. Moreover, the 4 divine sabers in their hands can erupt with a terrifying saber domain. I have some understanding of the 4-division divine saber array. 5 elders, listen to me and you will definitely be able to break it. Ling Xiao's voice was transmitted into the 5 grand elders' minds. Breaking the formation? All right, Ling Xiao will listen to you. The Yin-Yang grand elder's eyes lit up as he agreed without hesitation. It was as if they were afraid that the 3 grand supreme elders of the fiery mountain would hesitate. They explained telepathically, fellow cultivators, Ling Xiao is the Dragon King's nephew. He has extraordinary talent, and the supreme pill was refined by him. If we listen to his command, we will definitely be able to break the array in one go. When the 3 supreme elders heard this, they all agreed and said, then we'll have to trouble you, young friend Ling. All right, thank you for your trust, elders. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp glint flashed in his eyes. Elder Yang, take the Qian position. Elder Yin, take the Kuan position. The 3 seniors of the fiery mountain will assist you. Attack the wolf demon supremacy and the bear demon supremacy with all your might. When Ling Xiao's voice rang out, the Yin-Yang Grand Elder immediately rushed into the sky without hesitation. The dragon force around him filled the air as he performed the Emperor Dragon Fist and charged towards the wolf demon supremacy and the bear demon supremacy. Boom! The 3 supreme elders of the fiery mountain also charged towards the 2 of them. The sword chi around them was sharp and fierce, emitting blazing flames. The 3 peerless divine swords rushed into the sky with a terrifying momentum. You want to break the formation? Don't even think about it. The tiger demon supremacy sneered as a look of disdain appeared in his eyes. Rotation of the 4 divisions. 4 spirits returned to their positions. The tiger demon supremacy roared. Immediately, the 4 peerless divine sabers shone with unparalleled sharpness. In an instant, the 4 divine beasts, azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise, appeared. They emitted a majestic momentum and suppressed the 5 supreme elders. Although the wolf demon supremacy and the bear demon supremacy were besieged by the 5 supreme elders, they did not look nervous at all. The power of the 4 divisions flowed and the saber radiance was unparalleled, blocking all the attacks. Elders Yin and Yang, take the Qian position. The 3 elders of the fiery mountain, take the Li position. Separate the tiger demon supremacy and the leopard demon supremacy. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he gave another order instantly. Boom! When the 5 supreme elders heard Ling Xiao's order, they immediately took action and charged towards the tiger demon supremacy and the leopard demon supremacy. Elder Yang, take the Qian position. Elder Yin, return to the Kuan position. The 3 elders of the fiery mountain besieged the leopard demon supremacy. As the battle in the void became more and more intense, Ling Xiao gave orders faster and faster. The tiger demon supremacy's face turned extremely ugly. The 4 divisions' divine saber formations seemed to have been seen through. The 5 supreme elders gave up their fierce attacks and became more slippery than loaches. They specifically chose the gaps in the 4 divisions Divine Saber formation to launch their attacks. Although they could not break the formation in a short time, it made them feel very uncomfortable. Young friend Ling Xiao is really amazing. It seems that we have hope of breaking the formation. The eyes of the 3 supreme elders of the Blazing Mountain were filled with excitement. Previously, the 5 of them were suffering unspeakably as they were suppressed by the 4 supreme demon supremacies and fell into a disadvantageous position. However, under Ling Xiao's command, they gradually found the feeling and began to suppress the 4 supreme demon supremacies. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of moves had passed. The 5 supreme elders gradually found the feeling. Under Ling Xiao's command, the 4 supreme demon supremacies were suffering unspeakably. They also admired Ling Xiao more and more. Even they could not catch the gaps in the 4 divisions Divine Saber formation's operation, but Ling Xiao seemed to be able to predict the future. The 5 supreme elders' fighting spirit grew stronger and stronger. If you want to break the formation, now is the time. 5 supreme elders besieged the leopard demon supremacy at the same time. Kill him at all costs. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he suddenly roared. Boom! The 5 supreme elders did not hesitate and instantly exerted their strongest power. They activated the supreme weapons in their hands and gave up on their opponents at the same time, attacking the leopard demon supremacy. The leopard demon supremacy's weapon was the Azure Dragon Divine Saber. The Azure Dragon was of the water attribute and could subdue fire, but it could also be subdued by fire. The supreme elders of the 3 fiery mountains surged with the power of fire origin as 3 terrifying sword rays slashed towards the leopard demon supremacy at the same time. Kill. Chapter 710. Second brother, hold on. The tiger demon supremacy's expression changed drastically as he roared. Together with the wolf demon supremacy and the bear demon supremacy, they charged across the sky with their sabers in an attempt to stop the yin-yang supreme elder. The 4 spiritual divine beasts soared into the sky, exuding a monstrous divine aura as countless blazing saber rays erupted. It was as if the final blow had arrived, causing the sky to tremble and the void to shatter. The endless divine light was annihilated at the same time. The leopard demon supremacy took the blow from the 5 supremacies. The Azure Dragon Divine Saber in his hand was on the verge of shattering as it emitted a dazzling light. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood as his aura weakened. The 5 supremacies were also injured by the blazing saber rays caused by the Tiger Demon Supremacy, the Wolf Demon Supremacy, and the Bear Demon Supremacy. They all spat out a mouthful of blood and were sent flying. But in the end he still managed to block the joint attack of the 5. The 4 divisions Divine Saber formation was not broken. Ha! You want to break the 4 divisions Divine Saber formation? You're dreaming. All of you go to hell. The leopard demon supremacy laughed. Although his face was pale and he was constantly coughing up blood, his eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. Is that so? A faint but cold voice rang in the tiger demon supremacy's ears, causing him to tremble as he turned around abruptly. What welcomed him was Ling Xiao's figure soaring through the sky. Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent and calm, as well as a blazing sword beam that traversed the vault of heaven. It was the sky-devouring sword. No one could describe the style of this sword, and no one could describe the speed of this sword. Behind Ling Xiao, a dragon's roar shook the sky as a phoenix's cry filled the sky. A huge true dragon and a mysterious true phoenix intertwined in the void as if they had fused together. A mysterious and ancient power was integrated into the sky-devouring sword. The sword traversed 30,000 miles, like a huge Milky Way that traversed the sky. The leopard demon supremacy felt a fatal threat from this sword. His face instantly changed as he channeled all his supremacy power into the Azure Dragon Divine Saber in his hand and suddenly slashed forward. Block it for me. The leopard demon supremacy's face was ferocious, but there was a trace of unconcealable fear in his eyes. Ling Xiao's choice of opportunity was too good, or rather, this opportunity was created by Ling Xiao. The 5 elders besieged the leopard demon supremacy, causing the leopard demon supremacy to be injured. The tiger demon supremacy, wolf demon supremacy, and bear demon supremacy also injured the 5 elders, causing the 4-division divine saber array to be interrupted for a moment. Ling Xiao chose this moment to strike. He unleashed the power of the fusion of secret techniques and slashed out with a sure kill strike. Rumble! As the sword and blade clashed, blazing divine light exploded. It was as if a true dragon was roaming the 9 heavens and an immortal phoenix was burning the 10 earths. That terrifying power had surpassed the limit. It was as if it had touched the realm of the supreme gods. The leopard demon Venerable felt as though he was struck by lightning. The azure dragon divine saber in his hand was sent flying by the heaven-devouring sword. The vast and terrifying sword light shattered the void, and the chaotic mist filled the air, instantly submerging the leopard demon Venerable's body. Although Supreme Being experts were incomparably terrifying, and their attacks contained boundless power of laws, even a half-step Supreme Being wouldn't be able to withstand a single attack from a Supreme Being expert. There was still a limit to Supreme Being experts. Under Ling Xiao's sword, the limit of a Supreme Being was broken. Rumble! In the blink of an eye, the leopard demon Venerable exploded into a mist of blood. A 3,000-meter-tall Black Panther nascent divinity appeared in the air, radiating terrifying energy. Glaring venomously at Ling Xiao, he began to glow with dazzling light as he prepared to devour the quintessence energy of heaven and earth to reform his fleshly body. But how could Ling Xiao possibly give him that chance? King Heaven Devourer Cauldron, devour! Ling Xiao shouted, his eyes blazing with killing intent. Instantly, the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron shot through the air, pulsing with boundless devouring power as it shot toward the leopard demon Venerable's nascent divinity. Are you looking to die, boy? The tiger demon Venerable, the wolf demon Venerable, and the bear demon Venerable trembled, their eyes flickering with both shock and fury as they shot toward Ling Xiao. The 3 Grand Elders of the Mountain of Flames and the Grand Elder of the Yin-Yang Grand Elder were also stunned by this scene. However, they reacted in an instant and unleashed their Supreme Being cultivation. They flew across the sky and stood in front of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao isn't the one looking to die, it's you. Kill him. The 5 elders roared at the same time. Their killing intent was boiling, and their fighting spirit was soaring. They charged towards the 3 demon sovereigns. The leopard demon Venerable's fleshly body had been destroyed by Ling Xiao, and his nascent divinity had been bound by the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron. Although he was struggling, the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron seemed to be the bane of his existence. With the 4 divisions Godsaber formation broken, how could the remaining 3 demon venerables possibly be a match for the 5 elders? And it was all because of Ling Xiao. I won't let you off even if I become a ghost, Ling Xiao. The leopard demon venerable's nascent divinity struggled, his eyes flashing with venomous hatred. However, the terrifying devouring power of the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron sucked him in and sealed him inside. Whiz! The King Heaven Devourer Cauldron trembled, then flew back into Ling Xiao's body. An incomparably weak feeling came over him, and a look of satisfaction appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes. Although it seemed that Ling Xiao had finished off the venerable leopard with a single sword strike and completed the magnificent feat of killing a sovereign, Ling Xiao had spent a lot of effort for this sword strike. He had commanded the 5 elders to surround and attack the leopard demon venerable, all for this very sword strike. It was the ultimate sword strike of Ling Xiao, and contained the combined power of the secret magic of the ancestral dragon and the true phoenix. It was terrifying to the extreme. Even with his cultivation base of half a step into the paragon level, it was all he could unleash. If it weren't for the 5 elders, he wouldn't have been able to fight back against the 3 demon venerables. It had been a risk, but the result had been a pleasant surprise. He had broken the 4 divisions Godsaber formation, and even killed a paragon. There was complete silence on the Mountain of Flames. All the elders and disciples of the Mountain of Flames widened their eyes as if they were dumbfounded. Their eyes were filled with disbelief and shock. Ling Xiao had actually slaughtered a supreme being right in front of them. This made them feel as if they were in a dream. They couldn't believe their eyes. On the War God continent, paragons were always the strongest, the most powerful, invincible and peerless experts. But today Ling Xiao had killed one. Although many people knew that Ling Xiao had defeated the heaven-scorching demon emperor, and that his name had shaken the war god continent, it wasn't as shocking as the scene before them. He's already this strong? I'm afraid only the most monstrous geniuses on the Green Cloud Steel could compete with him. No wonder junior sister Feng is so in love with him. Lin Hui sighed, his mouth full of bitterness. He looked at the Phoenix maiden beside him. Her eyes were filled with excitement and adoration. She was so beautiful that it was indescribable. Chapter 711. Fellow Taoists, your dragon clan has really produced a peerless genius. The three elders of Flaming Mountain sighed softly and transmitted their voices to the Grand Elder of Yin Yang. Ling Xiao is indeed talented, but we didn't expect him to be able to kill the leopard demon venerable. The Grand Elder of Yin Yang was also very proud. Ling Xiao could be considered half a member of the dragon clan, and they were proud of him. Ling Xiao, sooner or later, I will tear you into pieces and make you unable to reincarnate forever. I will avenge my second brother. The tiger demon venerable's eyes were bloodshot as he glared at Ling Xiao with incomparable resentment and shouted coldly, "Let's go!" The tiger demon venerable called out to the wolf demon venerable and the bear demon venerable, wanting to leave this place. The four-division divine saber formation had been broken, and their cultivation was weaker than the 5 elders in front of them. They wouldn't be able to gain any benefits if they continued to stay here. Thus, they immediately had the intention to retreat. You want to leave? Stay here. The 5 elders roared and unleashed their powerful supreme divine might as they pounced towards the 3 demon venerables. However, the gap between them and the 3 demon venerables wasn't large. At this moment, they were determined to escape. Even if they wanted to stop them, they could only severely injure the 3 demon venerables and let them escape. Rumble. Above the 9 heavens, the lightning tribulation was still blazing. Old man Luo Sheng, who was fighting with Fire Phoenix Prime, also noticed the outcome of the battle in the distance. Trash, you were actually slaughtered by a brat who hasn't even entered the Supreme Being realm. Old man Luo Sheng said hatefully, and his eyes revealed a trace of retreat. After exchanging more than 100 moves with Fire Phoenix Prime, although she was somewhat at a disadvantage, he had no way of killing her. It was even difficult to interfere with her tribulation. At this moment, the leopard demon venerable had been killed, and the other 3 demon venerables had fled. The 5 elders of the dragon clan and Flaming Mountain had already surrounded him. If he continued to stay here, he might really be in danger of dying. Fire Phoenix Prime, let's stop here today. Let's fight another day. Old man Luo Sheng said sinisterly. His figure was like a ghost, instantly escaping the range of the lightning tribulation. He wanted to pierce through the void and leave this place. Did I say you could leave? Fire Phoenix Prime's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. Rumble. The nirvana chi around her body became denser and denser. In the end, a blazing flame soared into the sky. In an instant, the lightning tribulation that filled the sky was burned into nothingness. A powerful, mysterious, and vast aura spread out from Fire Phoenix Sovereign's body. At this moment, she had finally overcome the heavenly tribulation and truly attained the titled supremacy realm. Boom! She struck out with her palm, and a blazing flame palm print soared through the sky. It was as if the sky was collapsing, and old man Luo Sheng was instantly sent flying by her palm. Titled Supreme Martial Artist? How could you have passed the heavenly tribulation so quickly? Old man Luo Sheng roared. His eyes were filled with horror and disbelief. Bang! However, what answered him was a terrifying palm print that was filled with the blazing true fire of the phoenix. Rumble! The sky trembled as streaks of scarlet light surged. They seemed to transform into divine chains of order as they pierced through the void. The Luo Sheng sword in old man Luo Sheng's hand trembled violently as it was sent flying. The palm print landed heavily on old man Luo Sheng's body, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. His aura instantly became extremely weak. This was the power of a titled supreme martial artist. Even though Old Man Luo Sheng's cultivation was at 9th level Supreme Martial Artist, he was no match for her. Pavilion Master, save me. Old Man Luo Sheng suddenly roared when he saw Fire Phoenix Supremacy's palm strike that contained a terrifying destructive power. His eyes revealed a trace of horror. A black thunderbolt filled the void and instantly turned into an incomparably deep sword ray. It collided with Fire Phoenix Supremacy's palm and was annihilated at the same time. A black light flashed, and a young man in a black robe appeared. He looked extremely evil, and his eyes were filled with bloodlust and cold killing intent. Fire Phoenix Supremacy, give me some face and let Old Man Luo Sheng go. My underworld pavilion will no longer participate in the battle between the Flaming Mountain and the Sky Demon Palace. The black-robed young man said indifferently, but there was a trace of unquestionable tone in his voice. Killer boy? You're only at 9th level Supreme Martial Artist. How dare you threaten me? Fire Phoenix Supremacy's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness as she spoke indifferently. There were 3 powerhouses in the underworld pavilion. They were Killer Boy, Life Extinguishing Scholar, and Old Man Luo Sheng. They were known as the King of Assassins and were all at 9th level Supreme Martial Artist. However, Fire Phoenix Supremacy was now a titled Supreme Martial Artist, yet Killer Boy still acted so arrogantly. Fire Phoenix Supremacy, let Old Man Luo Sheng go, and we'll be at peace from now on. However, if you dare to kill Old Man Luo Sheng, your Flaming Mountain will be the enemy of my underworld pavilion. We won't rest until one of us is dead. Killer Boy was extremely unyielding as he spoke coldly. Won't rest until one of us is dead? Although I don't know where your confidence comes from, no one can save the person I want to kill. Who do you think you are? Do you think you're worthy of me giving you face? Fire Phoenix Supremacy laughed heartily and immediately smashed Killer Boy's primordial spirit with her palm. She then charged towards Old Man Luo Sheng. Fire Phoenix Supremacy, you forced me to do this. You forced me to do this. Since you want me to die, don't even think about living. Old Man Luo Sheng's eyes revealed a trace of madness. When he saw that Fire Phoenix Supremacy was not showing him any mercy, he immediately wanted to die. Boom! A black bone appeared in his palm. It looked like a baby's arm and contained a monstrous demonic aura. As soon as it appeared in the void, it immediately caused the heavens and earth to tremble. With my blood essence as a sacrifice to the devil god, I'll fall into the underworld forever. Fire Phoenix Supremacy, die with me. Old Man Luo Sheng roared and suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood essence. The black bone instantly floated up and swallowed all of the blood essence. It then floated above his head and swallowed all of his blood essence and primordial spirit, instantly turning him into a dried corpse. Rumble! The sky shook. After the black bone swallowed all of Old Man Luo Sheng's blood essence and primordial spirit, it instantly soared into the sky and expanded violently. The void shattered and chaotic mist filled the air. The black bone turned into a huge palm that contained a monstrous demonic aura. It was mysterious, ancient, cold, and evil. It was like the palm of a devil god that wanted to destroy this world. Everyone, including Fire Phoenix Supremacy, the 5 elders, and the many disciples of Mountain of Flames, trembled when they felt the aura of the devil god's hand. Their eyes were filled with incomparable shock. When Ling Xiao saw the black bone in the air, his eyes lit up as he sensed a familiar aura from it. The aura of this black bone was exactly the same as the 3 black bones he had obtained before. Chapter 712. Rumble. The huge demon god's hand traversed the void and broke open the sky. Endless chaotic chi filled the air, and its ferocious might overflowed as if it was going to destroy the world. That terrifying demonic aura caused everyone's bodies to tremble, and their eyes were filled with terror. An earth-shattering roar was heard, as if it was the roar of a demon god. The huge demon god's hand suddenly slammed down on the flaming mountain. Boom! Fire Phoenix Sovereign's gaze instantly became incomparably solemn. A sea of fire rose around her, and a vast and mysterious power of law descended, making her look like a god that controlled the heavenly Tao law. She was incomparably mysterious. The endless sea of fire seemed to be the power of the origin of fire. Fire Phoenix Sovereign's palm swept across the sky, and the sea of fire soared into the sky and blasted towards the demon god's hand. The void suddenly shook, and the sky shattered like a mirror. Endless divine light gushed out from the chaotic mist, and the monstrous flames were instantly crushed by the demonic chi that filled the sky. Fire Phoenix Sovereign groaned, and her face instantly turned pale. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. The demon god's hand was too terrifying. The monstrous demonic chi seemed to be able to erode all power. Not only did it shatter the power of law of fire that Fire Phoenix Sovereign had condensed, but it also injured her. Rumble! The demon god's hand trembled slightly in the void, and in an instant, it once again condensed the monstrous demonic chi, and continued to descend towards the flaming mountain. A gleam of light flashed through Ling Zhao's eyes. He could sense that after the black bone had devoured old man Luosheng's essence, blood and soul, it had transformed into a devil's hand that even Sovereign Fire Phoenix would find difficult to resist. He gritted his teeth, and regardless of whether the black bone would be exposed or not, a light flashed in his hand, and he took out the mysterious stone box. When the stone box was opened, there was a small black bone person inside. However, it was missing 4 limbs and looked very mysterious. It seemed to be branded with the mysterious world. Buzz. The moment the stone box was opened, the small black bone person shone brightly. A mysterious, dark, ancient, and terrifying aura erupted. The world seemed to have sunk into darkness in an instant. Everyone seemed to have lost their sight. Black light filled their eyes and they couldn't see anything clearly. The devil's hand in the void trembled slightly as if it had sensed some mysterious summoning. It instantly turned into a stream of light and flew into the stone box. It then turned back into a piece of black bone and merged with the bone man. The bone dwarf had an extra arm, but it was still missing an arm and 2 legs. Ling Xiao guessed that perhaps some mysterious change would occur after the humanoid skeleton was completed. Ling Xiao quickly kept the stone box. Boom! The terrifying dark aura instantly disappeared without a trace, and the world regained its clarity. The demonic hand in the void also disappeared completely. Everyone's faces were filled with confusion. Why did the demon god's hand suddenly disappear? Supreme Fire Phoenix looked deeply at Ling Xiao. She had clearly noticed that Ling Xiao had taken out a stone box, and then darkness had descended, enveloping the world, and the demonic god's hand had disappeared. It seemed like Ling Xiao had a lot of secrets. However, Paragon Fire Phoenix didn't delve into it. Elders, you stay here and take care of the aftermath. I'm going to the outworld to see how the battle with Dragon King ends. Paragon Fire Phoenix said to the 3 prime elders of the Mountain of Flames, then soared into the sky and flew toward the outworld. Ling Xiao breathed a sigh of relief. He had been worried that Paragon Fire Phoenix would investigate further. After all, the black bone person was very important, and Ling Xiao had a feeling that it was hiding some shocking secret. A mere arm was enough to suppress a titled paragon. If it was complete, wouldn't it have the power to slay gods? Ling Xiao's heart trembled at the thought. Even the wordless heavenly tome couldn't do anything to the black bone. Just where did it come from? The curtains finally fell on the battle of the Mountain of Flames. Old man Luosheng had sacrificed the hand, and Ling Xiao had killed Paragon Leopard. His nascent divinity had been suppressed in the Heaven Devourer cauldron. Paragon Tiger, Paragon Wolf, and Paragon Bear had escaped with heavy injuries. It was a complete victory. However, everyone was more worried about the battle in the outworld. The Great Sun Demon Paragon, Heavenly Corpse Emperor Xian, Trailokaya Vijaya, and Star Emperor were all titled paragons. Although Long Lai was also a titled paragon, could he really stand up to them? The 3 prime elders of the Mountain of Flames descended from the 9 heavens, looking at Ling Xiao with eyes full of gratitude. Young friend Ling, not only did you heal the Mountain Lord, but you also allowed her to prove her Tao and be conferred a titled paragon. The Mountain of Flames will never forget this kindness. If you have any requests in the future, the Mountain of Flames will not refuse. The 3 prime elders said earnestly, then bowed deeply to Ling Xiao. You're too kind, elders. I'm just doing my best. The reason Paragon Fire Phoenix was able to prove her Tao and be conferred a titled Paragon was because of her own efforts. However, I'm afraid the Heavenly Demon Palace won't take this lying down. Elders, you should be more vigilant. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and hurriedly helped the 3 Grand Elders up. Young friend Ling is right. The Heavenly Demon Palace and the Great Sun Demon Paragon have wild ambitions. We have to be careful. The 3 Prime Elders nodded. Ling Xiao, thank you for healing Master. Lin Hui also walked over. Although his expression was a little complicated, he still sincerely thanked Ling Xiao. You're welcome. Brother Lin, you've already passed the tribulation of the earth since we parted in the holy ground. Congratulations. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Since Lin Hui came over to thank him, he naturally wouldn't refuse. Compared to Brother Ling, I'm not even worth mentioning. Brother Ling killed the Leopard Paragon today, and soon the entire War God continent will be shaken. At that time, Brother Ling's ranking on the Azure Cloud Roll will probably rise again. Lin Hui sighed softly. The Azure Cloud Roll could be said to be the prodigy roll that countless geniuses in the entire War God continent yearned for. Those who could step onto the Azure Cloud Roll could definitely prove their Tao and become paragons. In the entire War God continent, there were many half-step paragons, but very few paragons. Many half-step paragons were stuck at this level, unable to break through their entire lives. The Azure Cloud Roll? Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and his eyes revealed a trace of light. He wondered how his current battle prowess would compare to the successor of the War God Temple, Buddhist Kasayapa, and that mysterious loose cultivator, the Azure Emperor. This made Ling Xiao look forward to the Heavenly Selection Convention even more. 3 days later, Paragon Fire Phoenix and Long Lai returned safely from the outer realm. Only then did everyone in the blazing mountain breathe a sigh of relief. Chapter 713. Long Lai still remembered that when the Great Sun Demon Venerable left, his face was extremely ugly. The Great Sun Demon Venerable had planned for so long and even invited experts from Ming Wang Temple, Underworld Pavilion, Star Palace, and Emperor Tomb Mountain. In the end, they still suffered a crushing defeat. Old Man Luosheng and Leopard Demon Venerable died in battle. Sky Demon Palace could be said to have gone for wool and come home shorn. When Long Lai heard that Ling Xiao had killed Leopard Demon Venerable, his eyes were filled with shock. His nephew's talent was too monstrous. The speed at which his combat strength increased was simply beyond his imagination. Ling Xiao, in this last year, follow me back to the Crystal Palace. I will try my best to collect the 4 symbols' secret treasures of earth, water, wind, and fire to help you pass the 4 symbols' calamity within a year. At that time, you might really be able to compete with the successor of War God Temple, Buddha Kasayapa. Long Lai glanced at Ling Xiao and said slowly, "Oh, uncle, do you think that I'm not their match now?" Ling Xiao smiled. "That's right." Long Lai nodded and said, "Your current combat strength is indeed very strong. However, in front of a peerless genius, the difference of a small realm will be magnified to infinity. The successor of War God Temple and Buddha Kasayapa have been famous for decades. After this Heaven's Choice meeting, they will definitely pass the sovereign calamity and become sovereigns. Their accumulation is too deep. The strength of War God Temple and Tempest Temple is not something you can imagine. Even if your combat strength is very strong, the 2 of them have flawless artifacts. Ordinary sovereigns will definitely die if they meet them, let alone you." Ling Xiao nodded. He naturally knew how strong War God Temple and Tempest Temple were. He also knew how terrifying flawless artifacts were. However, sometimes, in a life and death battle, it was not based on realms or artifacts. Ling Xiao was confident that even if he faced the successor of War God Temple, Buddha Kasayapa, he would still be able to fight. However, Ling Xiao did not plan to break through the tribulation of the 4 symbols within a year. He was prepared to use this year to cultivate and stabilize his cultivation. He wanted to practice martial arts and dabble in various schools to find his own path of martial arts. He wanted to surpass his previous life and reach the peak. He had to walk an unprecedented path. "Uncle, I won't follow you back to the Crystal Palace." Tell my mother not to worry. I'm going to the Shura sect. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Shura sect? Could it be that you've taken a fancy to the Azura sect's Azura battle tower? Long Lai's eyes flashed. The Azura battle tower was the sacred cultivation ground of the Azura sect. It contained countless ancient battle spirits. Inside the Azura battle tower, they could temper themselves and comprehend the purest battle intent. The people of the Azura sect were all battle maniacs because they were tempered in the Azura battle tower. That's right, I was thinking of going to the Shura battle tower to gain some experience. Ling Xiao said with a smile. The most important thing for him to come to the Azura sect this time wasn't the Azura battle tower, but rather, to find news about Sovereign Azura. He had a faint suspicion that the Azura sect was treating him so well because Sovereign Azura was still alive. 10,000 years had passed, and the world had changed. Nothing existed anymore. When Ling Xiao guessed that Sovereign Azura's close friend might still be alive, he was incomparably excited. That's good too. With your current cultivation and combat strength, as long as you don't meet the strongest few, I have nothing to worry about. However, you still have to be careful. The Great Sun Demon Venerable is extremely terrifying. Now that he's nearing the end of his lifespan, I'm afraid he'll do anything crazy. Long Lai nodded and said, The Great Sun Demon Venerable? If the heavens want him to die, they must first go crazy. He's just courting death. After the 2 battles at the Crystal Palace and the Blazing Mountain, he should have learned his lesson. If he doesn't learn his lesson, I'll destroy the Sky Demon Palace after the Sky Chosen One. Ling Xiao smiled with a trace of sharpness in his eyes. Destroy the Sky Demon Palace? We'll talk about it after you've attained the title. Long Lai shook his head and smiled. No matter how talented Ling Xiao was, he didn't think that Ling Xiao had any hope of attaining the title within 1,000 years. Long Lai and Fire Phoenix Sovereign were both heavenly geniuses. However, it took them close to 10,000 years to reach the titled Sovereign Realm. The peak of the human Tao, the perfected 10th level of the Supreme Realm, attaining the title was too difficult. After the battle at the Blazing Mountain ended, Ling Xiao, Long Lai, Fire Phoenix Sovereign, and the rest bade farewell and left the Blazing Mountain. When they left, Ling Xiao could clearly sense the resentment in Fire Phoenix Sovereign's eyes when she looked at Long Lai. Uncle, Fire Phoenix Sovereign is deeply in love with you. Why don't you give in to her? You've delayed her for so many years. Do you really want to delay her for the rest of her life? Ling Xiao smiled mockingly above the void. What do you know? Long Lai glared at Ling Xiao unhappily and said with a light sigh, Our matters are too complicated. Don't blindly meddle in it. I'll send you to the Azura region. You can head to the Azura sect yourself. The Crystal Palace is too empty now. I'm afraid that the Great Sun Demon Venerable will tamper with it. Alright. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes flashed. Could it be that there was some inside story between Fire Phoenix Sovereign and Long Lai that he didn't know? Long Lai traveled through the void and soon arrived at the Azura region. He left Ling Xiao in the Azura region and gave him a few instructions. Then, he returned to the Crystal Palace with the Yin and Yang Grand Elders. The Azura region could be said to be a part of the Wasteland Demon region. There were desolate mountain ranges everywhere. Ancient trees towered into the sky. Ancient lakes and rivers crisscrossed. It was like an ancient desolate world, exuding a majestic aura. 10,000 years have passed. As expected, the Azura region hasn't changed much. Ling Xiao said slowly. The Azura region was deserted. Only the plains in the west had humans living there. The desolate mountains in the east were filled with powerful demon beasts. In the Azura region was worthy of being called the Holy Land of the Martial Tao. Moreover, the Azura sect taught everyone regardless of race. Regardless of whether they were humans or demons, as long as they met the requirements, they could enter the Azura sect. The Azura sect was located in a huge mountain range. There were a total of 49 mountain peaks. They formed the Great Azura Divine Array and enveloped the Azura sect. This was the Holy Land of the Azura region. Countless martial artists were eager to enter the Azura sect. Outside the Azura sect's mountain gate, a dozen experts in black robes stood on both sides. Their faces were cold and their auras were extraordinary. Their bodies exuded a strong murderous aura. The weakest among them was of the noble realm. The leader was a middle-aged man in a black robe. He was a half-honorable. He carried a black war saber on his back and sat on a black rock. Ling Xiao descended from the void and arrived outside the Azura sect's mountain gate. Halt! The eyes of the black-robed experts flashed. They shouted coldly at the same time. A strong murderous aura rushed towards Ling Xiao. Even if you want to leave today, you have to ask me first. Brat, this elder won't bully the weak. As long as you can take one of my palms, you can scram if you can. If you can't, then leave your life behind. The black-robed middle-aged man, Elder Lu, sneered. His whole body exuded an incomparably powerful aura as he jumped down from the black stone. He had been in a very bad mood for the past few days. His daughter was an outstanding beauty, and he had used many connections to introduce her to Li Jingming. In the end, Li Jingming had bluntly rejected all of them. Li Jingming was the eldest core disciple of the Azura sect, so no matter how angry he was, he didn't dare to say anything. However, a brat who claimed to be Li Jingming's friend had actually dared to offend him, and it instantly caused the flames of fury in his heart to burn even brighter. Rumble! A peerlessly powerful aura emanated from Elder Lu's body, and a powerful blade intent soared up and pressed down on Ling Xiao. A trace of sympathy appeared in the eyes of the Azura sect's disciples as they looked at Ling Xiao. This fellow actually dared to offend Elder Lu. Even if he doesn't die, he'll be heavily injured. However, Ling Xiao's expression was very calm, and it was as if he wasn't affected by Elder Lu's aura at all. The Azura sect of the Azura sect has always only recruited those with extremely strong battle intent and pure minds as disciples. I never expected that after 10,000 years, a bunch of snobs like you would actually appear. Since that's the case, I'll teach you all a lesson on behalf of the Azura sect. Ling Xiao laughed coldly, and a trace of sharpness appeared in his eyes. He could feel the murderous intent in Elder Lu's heart. He wanted to kill someone just because they didn't agree with each other. What difference was there between a person like this and a demon? If the Azura sect was filled with people like this, then even if the Azura sect didn't die, he would probably die from anger. Teach us a lesson? Brat, you're really arrogant. I'd like to see if you still dare to be so arrogant in a while. Elder Lu laughed out of extreme anger, and his eyes instantly became extremely cold. At this moment, two figures flew over from afar. It was an old and dignified elder, and a young lady in a red dress. She looked extremely beautiful, and her figure was graceful. She had an extraordinary aura about her. Father, you're back? Did you find the 10,000-year star wood on this trip? Elder Lu's eyes flashed, and he immediately greeted them with a pleasant surprise. The 10,000-year star wood is a peerless treasure that's comparable to a peerless sacred medicine. The precious treasure pavilion does have a 10,000-year star wood, but it costs 1 million pure yang pills. The dignified elder sighed softly. You're Ling Xiao. That young lady in a red dress gaze landed on Ling Xiao. Suddenly, her entire body trembled, and her eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. Ling Xiao. When the dignified elder heard this voice, his entire body also quivered. He hurriedly turned around to look and discovered that youth with a very delicate face. Who else could it be other than Ling Xiao? It's you guys? Lu Xiongshi and Lu Wan? Ling Xiao's gaze was also slightly stunned. He didn't think that he could actually meet acquaintances here. The dignified elder and young lady in a red dress in front of him were precisely the descendants of Lu Guchen whom he met in Stellar Sky City. Ling Xiao didn't think that he would actually meet them here. Truly, there's a path to heaven, but you don't want to take it. Instead, you barge into the doorless hell. Sky Maple, he's Ling Xiao. The old ancestor died because of him. Our Stellar Sky City's Lu family was also ruined because of him. Today, you must kill him and avenge the old ancestor. Lu Xiongshir's eyes were bloodshot, and his killing intent was blazing. He looked at Ling Xiao and gnashed his teeth as he spoke. Lu Wan's expression was somewhat complicated. She glanced at Ling Xiao in a daze and didn't say anything. This youth. She once thought that Ling Xiao wanted to climb the social ladder and covet her Stellar Sky bloodline. That was why he returned to Stellar Sky City with her. But after a series of events, she finally understood that it was all her own conceit. Ling Xiao never took her seriously from the start. Chapter 7:15. She still remembered what Ling Xiao said before he left. They weren't from the same world at all. Right, so she was just a frog at the bottom of a well, and the young man she looked down upon was a divine dragon that was above the 9 heavens. Now that she saw Ling Xiao once more, there was no hatred in her heart, but there was a complicated feeling of melancholy, regret, and bitterness mixed together. Ling Xiao? Ha! No wonder I felt that name was so familiar. So it's you. You're the one who destroyed my Lu clan. Since you've delivered yourself to my doorstep, then leave your life behind. Elder Lu was Lu Tianfeng, Lu Xiongshir's son and Lu Wan'er's father. He joined the Azura sect a few dozen years ago, and he was currently an outer court elder of the Azura sect. He was at the quasi-exalt realm, so he could be considered to possess a high status and authority. Truly, one can take responsibility for a calamity brought on by the heavens, but the calamity brought on by oneself is the hardest to bear. If Lu Guichen knew that he had unfilial descendants like you, he would probably strangle all of you to death. I originally let all of you off out of consideration for Lu Guichen, but since all of you are courting death, then don't blame me. Killing intent flashed through Ling Xiao's eyes as he spoke slowly. He could have killed both Lu Xiongshir and Lu Wan'er in Skystar City, but he'd only let them off because of Lu Guichen. He never expected that he would actually encounter them here. Moreover, based on Lu Xiongshir and Lu Tianfeng's expressions, they seemed to be determined to kill Ling Xiao. Lu Xiongshir was still at the 9th level of the monarch realm while Lu Wan was actually at the 9th level of the noble realm. Looks like she'd obtained quite a bit of benefits in the Azura sect. Out of consideration for the ancestor? Who do you think you are? You dare to mention the ancestor's name? If it wasn't for you, how could we have possibly left Skystar City? Our families would have been destroyed, and we could only seek shelter under the Azura sect? You'll definitely die today even if you're the emperor. Lu Xiongshir spoke with a ghastly voice. Father, there's something you're unaware of. He said he's a friend of the Holy Sun, and he came to the Azura sect to meet the Holy Sun. Lu Tianfeng spoke indifferently. A friend of the Holy Sun? Is he even worthy? Lu Xiongshir laughed coldly. Tianfeng, don't be deceived by him. He doesn't belong to any sect, and he's an independent cultivator. Holy Sun. This brat is lying. Kill him. An independent cultivator? Alright. Lu Tianfeng smiled coldly and walked towards Ling Xiao. I heard from Wan, that you were only at the 9th level of the Heaven Tier 2 years ago. How much have you improved in these 2 years? Was it LV1 or LV9 of the Noble Realm? I don't know where you got the confidence to be so arrogant here. Later, I will crush every bone in your body inch by inch and let you die with a wail. Lu Tianfeng walked over step by step, emitting a monstrous baleful aura. He was like an unsheathed divine saber, terrifying beyond compare. Father, forget it. Let him go. We were the ones who let him down. Let him go now. Lu Wan'er's face showed a trace of reluctance, and she quickly said, Wan, don't be deceived by this brat. Our ancestor died because of him. Our Lu clan declined because of him. He must die. The killing intent in Lu Tianfeng's eyes seemed to materialize. Really? I'd like to see how you're going to kill me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, as if he was looking at 2 clowns. There was a hint of mockery in his eyes. The ignorant were fearless. This saying was true. If Lu Tianfeng knew that Ling Xiao had just killed a supreme being, would he still dare to act like this? Boom. Lu Tianfeng's eyes flashed with murderous intent, and he slammed his palm towards Ling Xiao. A terrifying palm print surrounded by black baleful aura slammed towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's expression was still very calm, as if he did not see Lu Tianfeng's attack at all. When the palm was right in front of Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and he threw out a simple punch. Golden lightning flashed, emitting a terrifying dragon's might. It was as if an immemorial divine beast had awakened, and an extremely terrifying aura emanated from Ling Xiao's body. Lu Tianfeng's expression changed drastically. His palm seemed to have hit a divine mountain, and it instantly exploded. Blood mist filled the air, and intense pain surged into his heart. He could not help but let out a cry of pain. Lu Tianfeng screamed, and blood spurted from his mouth. One of his arms had completely exploded into a bloody mist. This was also because Ling Xiao had shown mercy. Otherwise, Lu Tianfeng's entire body would have been blasted into nothingness by this punch. Everyone was stunned. Apart from Lu Tianfeng's screams, there was complete silence. Everyone's eyes were filled with disbelief, as if they were in a dream. Such a delicate-looking young man had actually blasted Elder Lu's arm apart with one punch. Elder Lu was a half-step supreme being, so how terrifying would this young man be? They suddenly remembered Ling Xiao's words. Perhaps this young man was really the saint's good friend? Instantly, a feeling of impending disaster surged into their hearts. This is impossible. This is simply impossible. Lu Xiangshi's eyes were filled with disbelief and horror. He mumbled to himself as if he had been scared silly by Ling Xiao. Lu Wen's mouth was also agape, and her eyes were wide open. Her face instantly turned pale. "Kid, I want you dead, I want you dead." Lu Tianfeng was in a frenzy, unable to believe everything that was happening before his eyes. He suddenly roared and pulled out the black battle saber on his back. Rumble! The black battle saber was a supreme-grade Dao artifact, exuding a monstrous aura. Lu Tianfeng held the saber in one hand, and his cultivation erupted as he slashed towards Ling Xiao. "You're courting death." A cold glint flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He did not dodge and directly struck out with his palm. Golden light rose up like a galaxy that traversed the sky. The light from the blade was blazing, and it slashed onto the black battle saber. Heaven and earth shook, and a terrifying divine light rose. Countless runes exploded. The black battle saber in Lu Tianfeng's hand was actually broken by Ling Xiao, and the saber hand slashed onto Lu Tianfeng's chest. Lu Tianfeng felt as if he had been struck by lightning. All the bones in his body shattered, and his meridians turned into dust. He was like a pile of mud, and was instantly sent flying dozens of feet away, crashing heavily onto the ground in the distance. Boom! Smoke and dust billowed, and rocks flew everywhere. Ling Xiao's robes were whiter than snow, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. He stood there calmly, and his eyes were bright and cold. The terrifying aura emitted from his body made everyone feel as if they had fallen into an icy abyss. "Tianfeng! Father!" Lu Xiangshi and Lu Wen both exclaimed, and hurriedly ran over to help Lu Tianfeng up. Their eyes were filled with horror. Chapter 716. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. How could I have lost? Kid, how dare you behave so atrociously in the Shura sect? You're dead. You're dead. Lu Tianfeng's face was pale as he stared at Ling Xiao and roared madly. His eyes were filled with hatred. Clang. The battle at the entrance of the sect instantly attracted the attention of the Shura sect. A loud voice rang out. From afar, numerous powerful figures soared through the sky, emitting a monstrous baleful aura. Who dares to behave atrociously in the Shura sect? An icy cold voice resounded. It was a black-robed young man with a cold expression, and there were numerous experts in black armor standing behind him. All of them possessed terrifying auras, and they were actually all at the monarch realm or above. Moreover, there were also 4 old men who were all at the half-step exalt realm. Ha! The Shura guards are here. Ling Xiao, you're dead. Lu Xiangshi was pleasantly surprised as he laughed. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent as he looked at Ling Xiao. The Shura guards were the strongest combat experts in the Shura sect. They were the most elite disciples of the Shura sect. They were in charge of maintaining the order of the Shura sect and fighting against outsiders. The battle at the entrance of the sect had alerted the Shura guards immediately. Ling Xiao's expression was calm as he stood with his hands behind his back. He looked indifferently at the Shura guards who were flying over from afar with a faint smile in his eyes. Cheng Jie, you're so impressive. Ling Xiao recognized the grim young man at the front at a glance. It was the Shura sect disciple, Cheng Jie. How do you know my name? Your brother Ling. The cold young man's eyes flashed sharply. When he flew over and saw Ling Xiao's figure, his body suddenly trembled, and a trace of surprise appeared in his eyes. Brother Ling, why are you here? Why are you in conflict with the guardian elder? Cheng Jie ran over excitedly. When he saw the heavily injured Lu Tianfeng in the distance, his eyes were filled with doubt. Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi shuddered. They had a bad feeling. Ling Xiao actually knew Cheng Jie? Supposedly, Cheng Jie was the second peerless genius in the Azura sect after Li Jingming to comprehend the heart of Azura. Even though he was very young, his cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds since he returned from the hallowed grounds. Moreover, he'd broken through several levels in succession under the tempering of the Azura battle tower. Now, he was at the 9th level of the Monarch realm, and he'd even become one of the commanders of the Azura guards. The great commander of the Shura guards was none other than the Holy Sun, Li Jingming. Someone wants to kill me, so I can only fight back. You can ask them. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and glanced at Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi in the distance. Cheng Jie's face suddenly turned gloomy. He coldly looked at the several disciples in the distance and said, "What's going on? Speak." How could those guarding disciples dare to hide anything now? Trembling with fear, he recounted everything that had happened after Ling Xiao had arrived. Cheng Jie's face darkened instantly. Lu Tianfeng, you've got guts. Do you know who he is? He's eldest senior brother's friend and savior. In the hallowed grounds, he defeated the sky-scorching demon emperor and ascended to the ascension rankings. He's the most distinguished guest of the Azura sect. I'll report this to the sect master. And lock them up. Cheng Jie coldly shouted at Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi. What? He defeated the sky-scorching demon emperor? These few words made Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi tremble. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. You're Ling Xiao? Lu Tianfeng's voice began to tremble. Ling Xiao's defeat of the sky-scorching demon emperor had shaken the entire war god continent. He was like a rising star that had replaced the sky-scorching demon emperor's position as the peerless genius who ranked 10th on the ascension rankings. However, Lu Tianfeng did not associate Ling Xiao with the young man in front of him. After all, 2 years ago, the young man's cultivation was only at the 9th level of the sky-human realm. How could he be the peerless genius who defeated the sky-scorching demon emperor in the hallowed grounds? If Lu Tianfeng had known that the young man in front of him was the same Ling Xiao who defeated the sky-scorching demon emperor, he would not have dared to attack Ling Xiao. Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi's faces instantly turned ashen. He has grown to such a level? Defeated the sky-scorching demon emperor? Lu War's eyes widened as she said in a daze. Her pretty face was as pale as a sheet of paper without a trace of blood, as if she was in a dream. She shuddered and hurriedly pounced on Ling Xiao. She shouted loudly, "Ling Xiao, I beg you, let my grandfather and father go. I'm willing to be a slave to atone for their sins." Ling Xiao's figure flashed and dodged her in an instant. "Miss Lu, please have some self-respect. I don't lack maids. I can spare their lives. However, it's up to the Azura sect how to deal with them." Ling Xiao said indifferently. He sighed in his heart. In the end, he still could not harden his heart to attack Lu Gichen's descendants. "Take them away," Cheng Jie said indifferently. With a wave of his hand, a few Azura guards with powerful auras came forward and captured Lu Tianfeng, Lu Xiongshi, and Lu Wan. "No, you can't capture me. I'm Grand Elder Luo Feng's man. My daughter is Grand Elder Luo Feng's disciple." Lu Tianfeng suddenly roared. His eyes were filled with fear. He knew what it meant if he was captured by the Azura guards. A light punishment would be crippling his cultivation and banishing him from the Azura sect. A heavy punishment would be a tragic death. In this world, if one did not have cultivation, the outcome would be worse than death. "Grand Elder Luo Feng, save me." 1 is your disciple. Are you going to abandon us? Lu Tianfeng shouted towards the depths of the Azura sect. When Lu Wan heard Lu Tianfeng's words, her eyes were filled with disbelief. Her body trembled and her face turned pale. Grand Elder Luo Feng had always wanted to take her as his disciple. However, Lu Tianfeng had always wanted Lu Wan to become Li Jingming's cultivation partner. Hence, this matter had been delayed. Lu Wan naturally understood that Grand Elder Luo Feng's intention to take her as his disciple was not that simple. He probably just wanted to use her as a cauldron and covet her heavenly star bloodline. Her fate would be extremely miserable. Lu Wan never thought that Lu Tianfeng would not hesitate to push her out to become Grand Elder Luo Feng's cauldron in order to survive. Grand Elder Luo Feng? Cheng Jie frowned slightly. He felt that the situation had become a little tricky. Supreme Elder Luo Feng held a high position in the Azura sect. Furthermore, he was extremely passionate about the daily affairs of the Azura sect. It could be said that aside from the sect leader, Supreme Elder Luo Feng's influence was the greatest. There were faint signs that he was on par with the sect leader. Boom! As soon as Lu Tianfeng's voice fell, a powerful and terrifying aura spread throughout the Azura sect. Above the void, a divine rainbow traversed the void. An old man in a black robe with white hair and beard slowly walked out of the mountain gate. His face was ruddy, and he had the demeanor of an immortal. Grand Elder Luo Feng, save me! Lu Tianfeng was overjoyed and hurriedly shouted. This old man with white hair and beard was none other than Grand Elder Luo Feng. Cheng Jie, Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi are my people. Lu Wan is also my disciple. Hand them over to me and I will discipline them strictly. Chapter 717. Luo Feng stood in the air and exuded a powerful and vast aura. It was as if he had become one with the heavens and earth. His voice reverberated between heaven and earth, causing the air to tremble. Ling Xiao could see that the Luo Feng before him was only a sovereign celestial body and not his real body. However, a sovereign celestial body had the aura and power of a sovereign. It was clear that Luo Feng's real body was extremely powerful. Ling Xiao guessed that even if Luo Feng's cultivation was not at the 9th level of the sovereign realm, he was not far from it. Greetings to the Grand Supreme Elder. Grand Supreme Elder, Lu Tianfeng used his position to avenge private wrongs and attempted to kill the saint's good friend, Ling Xiao. He should be handed over to the law enforcement hall for punishment. I'm afraid it's against the sect rules to hand him over to you? Cheng Jie cupped his fists at Luo Feng and spoke slowly. Avenge private wrongs? I don't think so. Ling Xiao did not have the saint's token. Lu Tianfeng did not allow him to enter the Shura sect because he was fulfilling his duty. As for attacking Ling Xiao, that was a private grudge and not a violation of the sect rules. Even if he did something wrong, I will discipline him strictly. Hand them over to me. Luo Feng said faintly. His voice carried a commanding tone. Ling Xiao frowned slightly. Although Luo Feng's attitude made him unhappy, this was an internal matter of the Shura sect after all. He could not say much. Moreover, Lu Wan is my disciple. This matter should be handed over to me. The Shura guards have done well. You may leave. Luo Feng glanced at Cheng Jie and slowly said. His eyes fell upon Lu Wan, with a strange glint in them. Lu Wan's face turned pale. She suddenly gritted her teeth and revealed a trace of determination in her eyes. Senior Brother Cheng, I'm not the Grand Supreme Elder's disciple. I'm willing to accept the punishment of the law enforcement hall. She knew the consequences of disobeying Luo Feng's orders. However, she also knew that if Luo Feng really took her away, she would suffer a fate worse than death. Therefore, she would rather die than become Luo Feng's cauldron. What did you say? Luo Feng's eyes flashed and his face instantly darkened. Wonder, are you crazy? What nonsense are you talking about? It's your fortune that the Grand Supreme Elder is willing to take you in as his disciple. Lu Tianfeng immediately became anxious and glared fiercely at Lu Wan as he berated her. Yes, don't say such things out of anger. If you become the disciple of the Grand Elder, it's not impossible for you to become a supreme being in the future. We're doing this for your own good. Lu Xiongshi also advised. You're lying. Lu Wen suddenly raised her head, her eyes red. She looked at Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi with an aggrieved look. Do you think I don't know why he took me in as a disciple? He's after my heavenly star bloodline and wants me to be his cauldron. Don't you know how many female disciples he's harmed in the Shura sect? I'd rather die than do that. There was a trace of determination in Lu Wan's eyes. Bastard! You unfilial daughter! You're pissing me off. Lu Tianfeng was so angry that his entire body was trembling. Then he quickly looked at Luo Feng and said, Grand Elder, don't listen to her nonsense. We agree that Wan will be your disciple. In the future, Wan will be your person. You can do whatever you want with her. That's right, Grand Elder. Wan doesn't know any better. Please don't lower yourself to her level. She's actually willing to be your disciple. Lu Xiongshi also had a flattering smile on his face as he spoke humbly. Pa, you're really my good father, my good grandfather. Lu Wen suddenly burst out laughing. There was a trace of despair in her eyes. Her heart was like dead ashes. At this moment, Cheng Jie and the other Shura sect disciples looked at Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi with disgust and disdain. In order to survive, this pair of father and son had actually given their own granddaughter and daughter to Luo Feng to be his cauldron. They had even done it in such a dignified manner. They were truly shameless to the extreme. However, in front of Grand Elder Luo Feng, they dared not say anything. Very good. I won't lower myself to Wan Er's level. Come with me, Luo Feng said with a satisfied smile. Then, without any explanation, he reached out his hand and grabbed at Lu Wan. Lu Wan seemed to have accepted her fate. She was like a walking corpse. Her soul had left her body, and her eyes were empty. Wait. At this moment, a calm and indifferent voice sounded. Boom. A figure stood in front of Lu Wan. At the same time, he struck out his palm. Golden light filled the air, and a bloody aura shot up into the sky. When it collided with Luo Feng's palm, it instantly caused the void to tremble. However, it managed to block Luo Feng's palm. It's him? Lu Wan's body trembled. The figure in front of her was dressed in white. He had a slender figure and looked very handsome. He gave off a very comforting feeling. Who else could it be but Ling Xiao? However, why would Ling Xiao stand up for her? In Stellar Sky City, because of her willfulness, snobbishness, and even coldness, Ling Xiao had almost died. However, Ling Xiao had displayed an extremely monstrous talent. He had broken through the layers of killing intent and killed Lu Changhe in a domineering manner. He was like a divine dragon roaring in the 9 heavens. When they met again, Ling Xiao had already defeated the sky-burning demon emperor and entered the azure sky role. Lu Wan knew that she was indeed from a different world from Ling Xiao. At this moment, she could only look up to Ling Xiao. She did not expect Ling Xiao to forgive her. In fact, she did not even know how to face Ling Xiao. Lu Tianfeng had abandoned her. Lu Xiongshi had abandoned her. Her dearest father and grandfather did not hesitate to let her become Luo Feng's cauldron in order to survive. She finally felt the coldness of this world. Her heart was like dead ashes. She had already accepted her fate. However, when the entire world had abandoned her, the person who was least likely to stand up for her, Ling Xiao, had actually stood in front of her. Lu Wen stared at Ling Xiao in a daze. 2 streams of clear tears flowed down uncontrollably. She looked at Ling Xiao's back and was a little dazed. Elder Luo, since Lu Wan is unwilling to acknowledge you as her master, then you shouldn't force her. Even in the Shilua sect, she has the freedom to choose her own master. Ling Xiao glanced at Luo Feng indifferently. Ling Xiao, I'm afraid you're interfering too much. Luo Feng's expression darkened. A cold glint flashed in his eyes. He knew that Ling Xiao's talent was unparalleled. He had defeated the sky-burning demon emperor and entered the azure sky role. However, Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the half-step to the honorable state. As the saying goes, everyone below the honorable state is an ant. This did not mean that Ling Xiao had the right to challenge him. Big Brother Ling, It's best that you don't get involved in this matter. Cheng Jia also laughed bitterly and hurriedly advised. Luo Feng was famous for his tyrannical behavior in the Shilua sect. Moreover, he was the grand elder with the highest cultivation. Usually, he did not even take the sect leader seriously. If Ling Xiao offended him, it would not be a good thing. Lu is an old friend of mine. I'm definitely going to interfere in this matter. As long as she doesn't want to do something, no one can force her. Not even you. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His voice was clear and his expression was incomparably calm. Chapter 7:18. Ling Xiao's voice reverberated in the air, and the disciples of Shilua sect were stunned. Ling Xiao dared to say to Grand Elder Luo Feng, "You can't do it either." Was it really worth it to protect a girl who seemed to have a grudge against him? The disciples of Shilua sect looked at Ling Xiao with admiration. No one in Shilua sect dared to speak to Grand Elder Luo Feng like that, but Ling Xiao did. Hearing Ling Xiao's words, Lu Wan's body trembled. She felt as if her heart had been hit by something. She covered her mouth, squatted down, and cried silently. Her tears were like a broken dam, and she could not stop them. Luo Feng's face was still indifferent, but there was a cold glint in his eyes. Good, very good. Ling Xiao, do you think you have the right to be arrogant in front of me just because you defeated the sky-burning demon emperor and entered the green cloud role? Let me tell you, I will take Lu Wan as my disciple. Luo Feng said indifferently. A formless aura pressed down on Ling Xiao. It was vast and majestic, as if the heavens and earth were pressing down on Ling Xiao. Is that so? You want to take her away? Unless you can defeat me first. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and his eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. Ling Xiao had planned for a long time to kill the leopard demon venerable. He used the 5 supreme martial artists to severely injure him, and then killed him with a sword. As for Supreme Elder Luo Feng, although he was only an utmost celestial body, he possessed the battle prowess of an utmost exalted. Ling Xiao did not want to miss out on such a good whetstone. So you're saying that you want to challenge this old man? Young man, the sovereign realm is not something you can imagine. If you want to challenge me, you must be prepared to pay the price of your life. I'm afraid you can't afford to pay the price. Luo Feng said indifferently. He took a step towards Ling Xiao, and a terrifying sovereign divine aura pressed down on Ling Xiao. I'm well aware of the price. However, Grand Elder Luo, you must be prepared. If I kill this sovereign celestial body, you will become the laughing stock of the entire war god continent. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as the sword intent around him condensed. His entire being seemed to have turned into a peerless sword. His aura was sharp and piercing, and he slashed apart Luo Feng's supreme might. What a sharp-tongued brat. Since that's the case, let's fight. Luo Feng said indifferently. His eyes suddenly flashed. Rumble. He instantly made his move. The divine might of a supreme being emanated from his body, and the laws of heaven and earth were added to his body. He threw a punch at Ling Xiao, and the sky was filled with black murderous aura, which condensed into a gigantic fist that was incomparably powerful. Although Ling Xiao had defeated the sky-burning demon emperor, he did not think that Ling Xiao had the strength to defeat him. In particular, Ling Xiao's appearance was too deceiving. He looked like a delicate and pretty young man, and his aura was not strong either. It was very easy for people to overlook his strength and underestimate him. Let's fight. A sharp glint flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as he threw out a punch as well. Crack! Golden lightning instantly burst out, and the golden aura around Ling Xiao shot up to the sky. In an instant he seemed to have turned into a golden dragon, and his entire body was exuding a terrifying dragon's might. The gigantic fist was like a dragon's claw, and it pierced through the sky. Bang! The two fists collided, and the void rumbled violently. Ling Xiao and Luo Feng trembled, and a blazing divine light burst out from between them. They could not help but retreat a few dozen feet. The superpower of the Dragon Clan? Brat, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you have a strong physical body. The power of a supreme being is not something you can imagine. A sharp glint flashed in Luo Feng's eyes, and he became slightly dignified. Ling Zhao's physical strength was extremely terrifying. He was actually no weaker than him. Moreover, the unparalleled physical strength seemed to be able to break through everything with brute force. The powerful laws of sovereigns were actually unable to do anything to him. Great Shura Palm! Luo Feng shouted, and killing intent flashed in his eyes. He threw out a palm across the sky. Black baleful aura filled the air, and the world seemed to have fallen into darkness. A terrifying palm print fell from the 9 heavens, as if it had enveloped the entire Azura palm. Great Shura Palm? Well, I guess I'll use you to test out the final 4 lives of the 7 limitations technique. 7 stars heaven-shattering stance. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he instantly flew towards the palm print in the sky. Rumble! He punched out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. The sky above the 9 heavens seemed to have been torn apart in an instant. The 7 supreme stars were dazzling, and streaks of terrifying starlight condensed on Ling Zhao's fist. The 7 paragon stars seemed to be descending from the highest heavens, and they radiated a towering aura as they bore down on Luo Feng. This was the 4th stance of the 7 limitations technique. The final 4 stances could only be cultivated by the Heaven Devourer Cauldron, and they contain the power to shatter the void. Only paragons could shatter the void, and the 7 stars heaven-shattering stance indicated that Ling Zhao had the battle prowess of a paragon. Ryumble! Heaven and earth trembled as Ling Zhao's fist slammed into the great Shura Palm, and the 7 paragon stars exploded, shattering the void and causing spatial turbulence to erupt. Luo Feng's expression flickered as he sensed the power of the 7 paragons of God power crashing into him. His arm trembled and he staggered backward a dozen or so paces. Ling Zhao's move succeeded, and he immediately pressed forward, shouting coldly, "Take another move of mine, 8 desolations burning heaven style." Rumble! The real devouring fire instantly spread out from Ling Zhao's body and turned into 8 flaming dragons around him. Their aura was monstrous and ferocious. They were surrounded by blazing flames and charged towards Luo Feng. Armageddon Azura Saber. Luo Feng shouted, his eyes flickering with shock. Then he unleashed a palm strike that resembled a snow-white blade of light, slashing toward the 8 true dragons. Rumble! The sky above the Azura sect shook violently as boundless flames filled the sky. The intense battle between Ling Zhao and Luo Feng seemed to have ignited a true flame, causing the distant mountains to tremble violently. As for the Shilhua sect disciples below, they were merely swept by the aftershocks. Their bodies trembled as their eyes were filled with disbelief. Big brother Ling Zhao is even stronger than he was back in the holy ground. Could it be that he's really going to kill a paragon? Cheng Jie exclaimed, his eyes filled with disbelief. Back in the holy ground, Ling Zhao had defeated the heaven-scorching demon emperor, and his invincible figure had been branded into Cheng Jie's heart. Chapter 719. He's not a supreme being, but he has the combat strength of a supreme being. He's indeed a divine dragon that soars through the 9 heavens. He'll eventually stand at the peak of the entire war god continent. Luo sighed softly. Her eyes sparkled as she fell into a daze. The battle between Ling Zhao and Grand Elder Luo Feng shocked everyone. The peerless geniuses on the Green Cloud leaderboard could be said to be the most dazzling group of people in the entire war god continent. Becoming a supreme being was not their end. They even had hopes of reaching the legendary unparalleled divine realm. And today they had seen it. Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshir's faces were drained of blood. Their eyes were filled with fear. Facing Ling Zhao, they did not even have the slightest bit of jealousy. How could an ant be jealous of a divine dragon? An ant's heart would only be filled with endless respect because the gap between them was too great. They suddenly had a feeling that a disaster was about to befall them. If Ling Zhao really stopped Luo Feng, Grand Elder Luo Feng would not help them in his anger. It's all that bitch's fault. She doesn't care about the father-daughter relationship at all. She wants us dead. Lu Tianfeng looked at Lu Wan-o with resentment in his eyes. Rumble. The battle in the sky above Shilhua sect was getting more and more intense. Soon, it attracted the attention of the Shilhua sect's higher-ups. In the depths of Shilwa sect, a few powerful auras swept across the sky, exuding a wave that shook the heavens and the earth. It was a middle-aged man in a black robe. His black hair fluttered in the wind. He looked extraordinarily handsome. His eyes were deep and filled with a domineering aura that looked down on the world. Behind him were two old men who exuded a lethargic aura. Their hair and beards were white, their faces were full of wrinkles, and their eyes were cloudy. However, the cold aura that exuded from their eyes made one feel as if the depths of one's soul had been frozen. Sect leader the Honorable? Cheng Jie's eyes widened. He hurriedly went up and bowed. Greetings, Sect leader the Honorable. Greetings, Sect leader the Honorable. All the Shilwa sect disciples hurriedly bowed as well. Get up. Cheng Jie, tell us what's going on. The middle-aged man in the black robe was Ziren Wang, the Honorable of Shilwa sect. He looked at the battle in the sky with a strange look in his eyes. Sect leader the sects. Sect leader, it's like this? Cheng Jie recounted what had happened. Is he Ling Xiao? Being able to fight Luo Feng with a cultivation of the half-martial highness realm, his talent is indeed terrifying. The Shuren king looked at Ling Xiao's figure in the sky and sighed. Sect master, do you want us to separate them? An old man behind the Shuren monarch slowly said. What kind of scandal is this? No need. If they want to fight, then let them fight. I want to see what level Ling Xiao's current combat strength has reached. The Shuren king smiled faintly as his eyes sparkled. Above the void, Ling Xiao and Luo Feng had already exchanged over 100 blows. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled. Dazzling divine light crisscrossed. Ling Xiao used the 7-star sky-shattering style and the 8 desolation-burning sky style. He gradually gained the upper hand and launched an intense battle against Luo Feng. Luo Feng's face darkened, his eyes filled with incomparable shock. He suddenly realized that he had indeed underestimated Ling Xiao. How could a peerless genius who could defeat the sky-burning demon emperor be so simple? He was now in a difficult position. Even if he defeated Ling Xiao, the Shuren king was already here and he could not kill Ling Xiao. However, if he lost to Ling Xiao, then he would lose face. Bang! Ling Xiao and Luo Feng collided. The void trembled and the two of them were sent flying. Ling Xiao looked unscathed, but Luo Feng's aura had weakened. It was obvious that he had suffered some injuries. Ling Xiao, you are indeed strong. However, in this battle, it will inevitably affect the Shilwa sect. Let's settle this in one move. As long as you win, Luo will be yours. Luo Feng said coldly. Settle this in one move? Sure. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. The aura around him rose and the battle intent in his eyes soared to the extreme. Rumble. Murderous intent flashed in Luo Feng's eyes. Black murderous intent filled his body and a black battle saber appeared in his palm. The sky and earth became gloomy and dark. Apocalyptic Azura, the heavens and earth mourn. Kill, kill, kill. Luo Feng suddenly shouted and slashed at Ling Xiao with his saber. The void in all directions seemed to have become sticky. Crimson blood rain fell from the sky and ominous aura surged from the ground. Luo Feng's saber seemed to have filled the entire sky. The black saber radiance contained the power to destroy everything and exuded a divine power that could destroy the world. Ling Xiao could not dodge this saber. The forbidden move of the apocalyptic Azura and the heaven and earth mourn palm? Sect leader, Luo Feng wants to kill Ling Xiao. Behind the Shuren king, an old man exclaimed. His eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. This move contained the ultimate killing power. Even if the old man was also a supreme being, he would have to pay a hefty price if he wanted to receive this attack. No worries. Ling Xiao's life will not be in danger. The Shuren king said slowly. His eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. In the face of this saber, the aura around Ling Xiao seemed to have been retracted. A terrifying killing intent was brewing in his body. Finally, with a roar, it erupted like a volcano. 9 killing ultimate style. The sky-devouring sword appeared in Ling Xiao's hand. At this moment, the sword radiance of the sky-devouring sword dimmed as if it had lost its sharpness. Ling Xiao held it tightly and instantly slashed out 9 times. The 9 swords crossed the sky. It was as if the black lines of the law were fluctuating. A terrifying and dark killing aura exploded. This was the second most powerful killing move among the 7 limits divine techniques of the devouring heaven and earth Morn Palm. It contained the power to destroy all life. Boom! A dark radiance instantly engulfed Luo Feng and Ling Xiao. The saber radiance and the sword radiance flashed. The terrifying divine radiance rose like a wave. The terrifying aura swept out, causing the Shilhua sect disciples below to be shocked. 9 killing ultimate style? 7 limits divine techniques of the devouring heaven and earth Morn Palm? Is it really you? The Shuren King's eyes trembled and revealed a trace of anticipation. In the end, all the divine radiance was annihilated at the same time. Ling Xiao stood in the air with the sky-devouring sword in his hand. Opposite him, Luo Feng had already been slashed in half by his sword. Only an illusory primordial spirit was left struggling to hold on. How is this possible? Luo Feng's eyes were filled with disbelief. He had used the forbidden move of the apocalyptic Azura saber. He did not expect that he still could not kill Ling Xiao. He did not even manage to injure Ling Xiao. The 9 killing ultimate style had directly shattered Luo Feng's sovereign celestial body. Although this sovereign celestial body only had the cultivation and combat strength of a level 1 supreme being, it was still a genuine supreme being expert. Chapter 720. You've lost. Ling Xiao said calmly. The sky-devouring sword flashed and he put it away. Ha! Very good. I'll remember you. Ling Xiao, wait until I return from the extraterritorial world, then I'll challenge you again. Luo Feng laughed heartily. He took a deep look at Ling Xiao and instantly turned into a rain of light, disappearing into the void. The sovereign celestial body had fallen. Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi were so scared that their faces turned pale. Their eyes were filled with fear. They never thought that Ling Xiao didn't defeat Luo Feng, but killed him. Defeating and killing were 2 completely different concepts. The entire Shura sect was silent. Everyone was stunned. At this moment, the news of Ling Xiao killing the leopard demon venerable had not spread. That was why the result of Ling Xiao killing Luo Feng's sovereign celestial body was so shocking. This was the second sovereign that Ling Xiao had killed. Ling Xiao looked at the Shuren King in the distance with a strange look in his eyes. It was probably because the sect leader had allowed it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to kill Luo Feng's sovereign celestial body without anyone stopping him. Alright, all of you can leave now. Chengjie, take Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi away and punish them according to the sect rules. Take Lu Wen'er away too. Make sure she's well taken care of. The Shuren King said indifferently. Yes. Chengjie's eyes turned cold as he bowed and said. The Shura guards came forward and grabbed the pale Lu Tianfeng and Lu Xiongshi. Lu Wen'er looked at Ling Xiao with a complicated expression and left with Chengjie. Ling Xiao? You defeated the sky-burning demon emperor in the holy ground. I didn't expect you to have the combat strength of a sovereign in such a short time. Your talent is unparalleled. The Shuren King looked at Ling Xiao and smiled. I have to thank the sect leader. If you had stopped me, I wouldn't have had the chance to kill him. Ling Xiao said with a smile. He saw a different emotion in the Shuren King's eyes. His heart skipped a beat. Could it be that the Shuren King recognized him? In his previous life, it could be said that he and Supreme Azura were both enemies and friends. There was competition between the two of them, but they also appreciated each other's talents. However, their relationship was also very good. Supreme Azura's weapon, the Azura Heaven-Slaying Blade, was forged by Ling Xiao for him. The Azura Supreme was very familiar with Ling Xiao's weapons and martial arts. If the Shuren King was a descendant of the Azura Supreme, he might be able to recognize him. Ling Xiao, come with me. The Shuren King smiled faintly and flew into the depths of the Shilhua sect with Ling Xiao. Outside Azura sect were 49 divine mountains that formed the Great Azura Divine Formation. The floating divine mountain at the center was the main peak. It was 10,000 zhang tall and had a majestic aura. It emitted powerful supreme being Tao marks, representing the escaped one. The Shuren monarch brought Ling Shao to the top of the mountain and into a black palace. Azura Palace. Ling Shao sighed softly. This divine floating mountain was exactly the same as it was 10,000 years ago. Nothing had changed. He could still remember the scene of him and Sovereign Azura sparring in the Azura Palace 10,000 years ago, drinking and chatting happily. However, as time passed, it was no longer the same as before. In the center of the Azura Palace, there was a black stone box. It was 1 zhang wide and 1 meter long. The Shuren king slowly opened the stone box. A bright light shone and a sharp blade intent spread out. It emitted an aura that could destroy everything. It was a long black blade. It was as black as ink and 9 feet long. The blade was as thin as a cicada's wing. It emitted a monstrous baleful aura. With a slight tremble, it seemed like it could shatter the void. This was a peerless, ferocious blade. When Ling Shao saw the saber, he was stunned. This was because this blade was the weapon he had forged for Supreme Azura, the Azura Heaven-Slaying Blade. 10,000 years ago, the name of the Azura Heaven-Slaying Blade shook the world. It accompanied Supreme Azura and killed one enemy after another. It swept through the world and finally became a titled Azura. However, there were a few nicks on the blade of the Azura Heaven-Slaying Blade. Black demonic blood flowed out and it was tainted with an ominous aura. Buzz. The moment the Azura Heaven-Slaying Blade opened the box, it began to buzz and tremble. It emitted a trace of excitement and intimacy as it slowly floated up. The handle of the blade floated in front of Ling Shao. Ling Shao unconsciously grabbed it. Boom! A vast and powerful aura spread out. Terrifying killing intent surged. The entire Azura Palace trembled as if it was about to be destroyed by this terrifying killing intent. You are Ling Shao? The strongest person in the world 10,000 years ago, the sky-devouring Supreme Ling Shao. The Shuren king said word by word, looking at Ling Shao with eyes full of excitement. You recognize me? Are you the son or grandson of Azura? Ling Shao looked at the Shuren king and said slowly. When the Shuren king brought him to the Azura Palace and took out the Azura Heaven-Slaying Blade in front of him, Ling Shao knew that the Shuren king was trying to verify something. The Azura Heaven-Slaying Blade was forged by Ling Shao. It was like he was his own son. Only Ling Shao could cause the Azura Heaven-Slaying Blade to manifest such a phenomenon. Senior Ling Shao, is it really you? I am the Shuren king. Azura is my father. The Shuren king took a deep breath. His eyes were filled with joy. He had already guessed it. That was why he had asked the disciples of the Azura sect, such as Cheng Jie and Li Jingming, to come to the Azura sect. Now that he saw the phenomenon of the Azura Heaven-Slaying Blade with his own eyes, the Shuren king was sure that the young man in front of him was Ling Shao. Senior Ling Shao, 10,000 years ago, my father heard that you were ambushed by the Supreme True Dragon. He was furious and wanted to find the Supreme True Dragon to avenge you. However, he couldn't find the whereabouts of the Supreme True Dragon. After that, the calamity that swept across the War God continent happened. My father told me that he believed that you wouldn't die just like that. You will definitely come back. The Shuren king said slowly. When Ling Shao, the number 1 Supreme True Dragon from 10,000 years ago, appeared in front of him, even his eyes were filled with disbelief. Azura, how is he now? Ling Shao sighed softly, a trace of emotion in his eyes. Father isn't dead, but he's not much different from death. The Shuren king laughed bitterly. What happened? Ling Shao frowned. In the calamity 10,000 years ago, father was seriously injured. When he was about to die, he used the legendary Time Divine Wood to create a coffin and buried himself in the 1,000 Coffin Mountain. Time Divine Wood? 1,000 Coffin Mountain? Chapter 721. The 1,000 Coffin Mountain was one of the 8 great forbidden grounds. It contained an endless amount of life and death energy. Anyone who was buried in the 1,000 Coffin Mountain would become a zombie, similar to the zombies in the God Burial Cave. Moreover, many experts who were nearing the end of their lifespan would choose to be buried in the 1,000 Coffin Mountain to extend their lifespan. They hoped that if their descendants could become gods in the future, they would be able to extend their lifespan as well. However, there were too few experts who could be buried in the Thousand Coffin Mountain. After all, coffins were hard to find. Only treasures like the divine wood of time could be forged into coffins and buried in the Thousand Coffin Mountain. As for ordinary experts, they would probably be struck by the life and death energy and turn into zombies. That's right. When Father buried himself in the Thousand Coffin Mountain, he told me that you would definitely come back. He also told me about your martial arts, weapons, and other information. He also left behind the Azura Heaven-slashing saber and told me to find you no matter what. However, I didn't expect that I would wait for over 10,000 years. The Shuren King sighed. He had also lived for over 10,000 years. If he hadn't swallowed a treasure to extend his lifespan would have already withered and turned into dust. The Shuren King had always asked the Shura sect disciples to keep an eye out for people similar to Ling Xiao. When Ling Xiao stepped onto the War God continent for the first time and gradually revealed his martial arts, the Shuren King became suspicious. However, at that time, he only suspected that Ling Xiao was the successor of the Sky Devourer Supreme. It wasn't until Ling Xiao came to the Shura sect and personally witnessed the Shura heaven-slaying blade that he confirmed that the youth before him was the Sky Devourer Supreme from 10,000 years ago. Although being buried in the Thousand Coffin Mountain can extend one's lifespan, it will also link one's lifespan with the life and death energy of the Thousand Coffin Mountain. However, don't worry, I will find a way to save your father. Ling Xiao sighed softly. If one wanted to escape the restrictions of the Thousand Coffin Mountain, the only way was to become a god and ascend to the divine realm. However, although there were countless legends in the past million years, Ling Xiao knew that the heavenly Tao was flawed. The path to becoming a god had been cut off. Otherwise, Supreme True Dragon wouldn't have ambushed him 10,000 years ago just for the Scarlet Dragon War God's godhead. Thank you, Senior Ling Xiao. My father said that the reason he was struggling at death's door was not because he cherished his life. Instead, he wanted to preserve his last bit of lifespan to avenge you. For so many years, we've been searching for the whereabouts of Supreme True Dragon, but since 10,000 years ago, he seemed to have vanished into thin air, never appearing on the War God continent again. Shuren King said slowly. Is there no news of the Supreme True Dragon? The heavenly path has been severed. Regardless of whether it is the previous life or this life, there is no way for him to ascend to the divine realm. However, I believe that he must still be on the War God continent. However, he has obtained the Scarlet Dragon War God's godhead. Perhaps he has already ascended to godhood and has a long lifespan. In this life, I will definitely find him. Ling Xiao said indifferently with a sharp glint in his eyes. After Ling Xiao finished speaking, he glanced at the Shuren King and said, You've probably been stuck at the 9th level of the Venerable Realm for many years, right? Was there still no way to attain a title? Moreover, the Azura sect isn't peaceful now. That Luo Feng doesn't even care about you? A Venerable had a lifespan of 10,000 years. Although attaining a title wouldn't increase one's lifespan, it was still a step closer to the legendary divine realm. If a venerable expert could consume a quasi-divine medicine or even a supreme divine medicine, it could also increase their lifespan. This was the reason why Long Lai and the Shuren King had already lived for over 10,000 years. However, they didn't have much lifespan left. If they couldn't break through to the divine realm within 1,000 years, they might still turn into dust. Attaining a title is easier said than done. I've been stuck at the 9th level of the Venerable Realm for 2,000 years. The Shuren King sighed softly. As for Luo Feng, he's someone from my father's generation. Now that he doesn't have much lifespan left, it's natural that he's becoming more and more unreasonable. However, keeping him alive is just to lure out the person behind him. The person behind Luo Feng. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Ling Xiao estimated that even if Luo Feng hadn't reached the 9th level of the Venerable Realm, he should be close. Then who is the person behind him? A titled Venerable? These past few years, the War God continent appeared to be very peaceful. But there's an undercurrent surging. I can faintly sense that someone wants to stir up trouble. They've planted quite a few experts in the various holy lands. Perhaps the war god temple is behind this. The Shuren king's eyes flashed with a cold light as he slowly spoke. War god temple? This faction that claims to be the strongest in the war god continent has indeed started to jump around recently. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he slowly spoke. From when Divine General Wuchang captured Luoluo, to when the Sky Demon Palace targeted the Water Crystal Palace, the War God Temple also appeared. Ling Xiao felt that the War God Temple wasn't simple. 10,000 years ago, the War God Temple was very low-key. However, the current War God Temple's whereabouts were very secretive, as if they were secretly plotting some scheme. The Shuren King nodded and said, "Senior Ling Xiao, you're going to participate in this year's Heaven's Choice Convention, right? I've always felt that there's something wrong with the Heaven's Choice Convention hosted by the War God Temple, especially in the past 10,000 years. However, after every Heaven's Choice Convention, there's always a peerless genius who proves their Tao to be a venerable. Therefore, I haven't discovered any schemes. Senior, you have to be careful this time." Heaven's Choice Convention? I'll use this opportunity to probe the War God Temple's background. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with a sharp light. In his previous life, Ling Xiao didn't participate in the Heaven's Choice Convention, but he was very clear about the Time Cave. The Time Cave was like a sealed ancient world. It was extremely mysterious and contained endless secrets. There were even God's inheritance ruins. However, the outside of the Time Cave was filled with the chaotic power of time. The flow of time was extremely fast. Even a venerable expert could very well die from the exhaustion of their lifespan. Therefore, the Time Cave was the forbidden area that venerable experts were the least willing to step into among the 8 great forbidden grounds. The Heaven's Choice Convention was held in the Time Cave. It was said that the flow of time inside was a terrifying 1 to 100. In other words, 1 year outside was equivalent to 100 years inside the Time Cave. There were even some terrifying places where the ratio was 1 to 1,000, or even 1 to 10,000. Ling Xiao participated in the Heaven's Choice Convention for 2 reasons. First, he wanted to test his sword against the heroes of the world. He wanted to sharpen his martial cultivation and strive to step into the venerable realm as soon as possible. Second, he wanted to investigate the War God Temple's purpose in holding the Heaven's Choice Convention. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.